and welcome to the very first, I do mean very first, mid-best, and yeah, I said mid-best, World Warrior Tournament. We've had some upsets, we've had some nasty matches lead up to this top 8, and it's gonna get even more disgusting. My name is St. Cole, I'm joined with Brad, my G. How you doing, dog?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to be back. I'm excited to be checking this out. I have a mid-best t-shirt upstairs that I almost wore for this, but the day got away from me, so it's gonna have to be for another day, unfortunately. So I'm with y'all in spirit. I'm here in practice, here to watch, and we're gonna have some awesome matches here up in this top 8. I know we're preparing to bring our first players in, but why don't you walk the people through the bracket as we got it going so far?
People, let me just hit this top 8 for you. It's a little bit different than what you might expect. Let me pull this guy up here. Stealth versus KOLIBRI is our first match. Those two have been deadly in the offline and online. We saw KOLIBRI taking down Kobe on at CEO, and Stealth doing mad work over Texas Showdown. So nothing surprising over there. JAK versus HAMAD. HAMAD out here on the Honda of all things. And of course, JAK, one of our strongest players in the US and in the world just in general. But in loser side, we have Sevens versus YUNGTATE and Mia versus Marv. No Dual Kevin, no El Chicote. That just goes to show how demonic these brackets are getting right now in the mid-best. And I feel like people have been watching people grind things out offline, have been getting used to the patch, and it's been creating like a bigger area of dominant players that I can't wait to see travel out. But right here, we're gonna get a lot of that action right now.
Yeah, I think in general, and this has been interesting to watch on Street Fighter 6, I feel like the barrier of entry to being able to really hang at that highest level, like more and more players are able to get into that sort of 98, 99%, and then still scrape it up with that like 0.1% of players who are super, super solid. And it's just the level of competition that you can see across the board, right? Like it really feels like no name is a guarantee most of the time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, when we look at these brackets, we expect obviously JAK, Dual Kevin, Flash, the people that have been the most dominant in our World Warriors for Street Fighter 5, for Street Fighter 6. You'd expect them to be out here, but they're not always appearing. And as you mentioned, I think the skill level has risen. There are things in this game definitely that help out with that, but I think overall, we've seen consistency definitely matter. We've seen it over with Lashar, winning tournaments back-to-back offline with some of the most stacked you'd ever see for Street Fighter 6. So I think there's an element of being consistent. It's just trying to find that. And also, as I said, players watching CEO or attending CEO, being emboldened by running sets or saying, man, I want to get better. I want to be like these cats out here. And understanding that there's only a one person qualifying out of all these tournaments now for the World Warrior is even more of a deadly proposition to jump in and fight it out. So you have to be on your P's and Q's the entire time. Every time you enter a World Warrior is going to matter even more so. You're going to have to get the top spot to get that top 8, and of course hit the finale at the very end of this year.
Yeah, I mean, not trivial at all. And you were speaking to the nature of competition, even just in the Midwest area. Like, it's not going to be a breeze for anybody.
No.
So what that means for all of us, people like you and I and all of our viewers at home, is we get to watch every month some absolutely stellar Street Fighter. And to sort of piggyback on your point about, like, there is consistency, I think in general, a lot of people tend to overblow how they feel more modern games can be inconsistent. Isn't even the word that I want to use because it feels so inaccurate. I think it's just that some of these more modern engines, and in particular, I'm thinking of Street Fighter 6, I think there are very specific practices and techniques that if you're not on the money for them are going to completely dismantle you if somebody is able to expose it. That's things like not knowing how to handle DI as the defensive player. Things like not being able to check drive rushes against characters where you can reasonably do that, or being able to, play a solid footsie game. There are these fundamental skills that are enough to carry you up to a spot like this, and then you're playing that game of inches with your opponent where it's really about a mind game.
And I think even on top of all this, there's like a lot of playstyles that are kind of difficult to deal with. We saw like people from Chile doing things like wake up OD fireball, sweep, and stuff like that. And you have to be prepared for different sorts of those playstyles coming. You might fight a character, but this is very much a player-to-player type game, in my opinion. And speaking of, when we're talking about what these players are doing differently, KOLIBRI, active, aggressive with it, going up against Stealth as our very first match of this top 8. Let's get it.
Yep, and we have JP versus Ryu. I know everybody talking about how Ryu is like the winner of this patch. I gotta say, I feel like it's been a really long time since I've played a Street Fighter title where Ryu was a character that you had to be afraid of. I'm happy to see him back. Doesn't have the DP on the up back, and Stealth is able to get the knockdown, sets up the portal back to mid-range.
Yeah, there's a drive rush in with a stand medium kick. As much range as you can get off that button and that drive rush, you'll take that trade. And KOLIBRI needs to be able to advance a little bit more. Yeah, get back in the green so you can drive rush up. If you want to go for an OD fireball, you have to watch your 6. You got hit.
I wonder whether there was time to uppercut there. It felt like the throw was early enough that you might have been able to. I wonder if there was like some hesitation about ODDP versus regular because of how low the drive gauge was. I think you could have forced one more interaction, but you know, it's also still early in the set. You got to get mindful to it, but that's twice now that up back has blown up throw with portal in the back. That's something KOLIBRI definitely needs to be mindful for. Plus frames getting smoked, and Stealth just has a good read on when KOLIBRI is going to start being active on defense and blowing it up.
Yeah, using that heavy kick, that plus from scenario as you mentioned, big old button leads to full screen. And this is, yeah, you have to spin OD fireball. You got to spin some sort of OD fireball instead of like drive rush. It's going to have to be the play here. Keep that bar for that exact point to get the knockdown and try to walk on in. But as soon as the help itself, it's just like, that's cool. I'm going to go into my level 3 after this. Pierce, beforehand, it was departure. It was making it snap. And it won't kill, excuse me. But OD departure will lock KOLIBRI down. It's a one-touch scenario.
Yeah, the portal's in the back. KOLIBRI's had a very hard time. Wow, dash goes unanswered, gets the back throw. ODDP, we got the pickup. CA in the back. That should be enough, right?
Let it rip. Yeah, this is over. CA means extra damage on the way. You are definitely deader than dead. But that does mean no level 3 at this last round. Same with South. They both spent their bar. This is over. KOLIBRI able to pull it back from the brink. That was looking horrible for her.
No, absolutely. And I love starting to use the Hasho a little bit. It's sort of a fireball feint built into the kit. I feel like this full screen position for KOLIBRI hasn't really worked. I like that they're taking some more active movement to try to move into a range that's a little bit better for them, really using the fireball in a range where Stealth wants to go for like towards Roundhouse. Okay, nice pickup.
Yeah, Stealth trying to go for that raw departure. Unfortunately, not clear for flight. Stand fierce, Hashogeki, DP ender, frame kill, meaty fireball, so you cannot amnesia, but Stealth able to block it out.
Waiting it out, love that solar plexus, but no, wanted for the spacing trap, not gonna work. Stealth gets the screen spacing back to how they want it. Portal keeps them safe. Okay. Oh, I thought that was gonna pick up.
I did too. I was like, that's what the land to the departure wasn't able to, but Stealth has been, you know, dominant in this range. And at this point, you've tapped parry a little bit too often, stuffed a lot of fake outs to make them waste the bar. Level 2 coming through. All it takes is one overhead just like this to get the pickup. Back to full screen. KOLIBRI hasn't even got health after drive gauge back. Yeah, what can you do? You can maybe set up like a level 1 if you're hopeful, but Stealth will interrupt it with a Pierce. That's the first game, a stealthy one.
There were definitely moments there where you see KOLIBRI starting to find a game plan. I think it's twofold for me. One is there's a specific range that KOLIBRI needs to get to where they're able to sort of drive a little bit more, and stuff looks great there. Getting to that spot has been hard, one. And two, I feel like KOLIBRI is expecting a certain amount of patience defensively from Stealth that isn't there. And so KOLIBRI's leaving these wider gaps and then getting clipped when they try to claim the space back. Exactly like that. Going for a shimmy, wants to hit a button, clipped by the counter poke from Stealth.
Yeah, it's an odd amount of button interactions here from Stealth. And then when he takes the advantage, KOLIBRI's not expecting it. And Stealth usually better off in drive gauge department, which makes sense. A lot more of the projectiles, the pierces, and then is able to run OD just like this. Pierce again. Pure lockdown. That's what you want to do against someone like KOLIBRI. Wants to get aggressive with the buttons. Drive for a stay. Pierce, Hashogekis. Stay away from the danger. Punish on the throw.
All right, how far are we going to press this? Using the level 1. And that is going to be enough to do it. Stealth up around now in this game, too. KOLIBRI needs to figure out how to be just a hair stickier when they get in that range. There's something about that timing. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of low forward used. Maybe that's a button to incorporate. It's been a lot of solar plexus and standing fierce.
Well, open the corner is going to work out better here at least. Dead. Has to be level 2, but you'll do that whatever it takes to get that kill. That shit Hashogeki will take him down. And KOLIBRI, again, like, you know, as you mentioned, I think you're right. Stay close. Stay sticky. Don't let him breathe. Crouch even to push off the drive rush. But that's the other problem. And now Stealth is like, I'll just initiate. Instead of waiting, go for like take fireballs and stuff, I'll initiate with buttons.
Yep, all right, try to move it forward. Getting these parries on the zoning efforts out of Stealth. No, that's the second time now that teleport has happened where Kolibri's not been able to find the anti-air, and both landed as counter hits, so there was an attempt.
Yeah, Odie makes it really difficult to do it. You see the game spin, you can anti-air if you want to, but having two of those and the fact that we do see a lot of like forward momentum from Stealth makes it really difficult to have to deal with it all the time. Sweep the lows, overhead drive. First at the very last moment. Great defense here from Kolibri. Has been a better bar, but could have been way worse.
I have a problem with this though, and it's that look how little drive gauge there now is from Kolibri. Like, sure, you weathered the storm of that, but there's nothing left in the tank. And now Stealth with the extra overhead, you are very close to dying on chip. Yeah, one forced interaction was all it was going to take, and that's 2 games up for Stealth.
Damn, the jump back and just neutral jump mediums outside the range when you throw out a fireball. Very smart Stealth. Stealth understands how to keep that lead and take the game 2 games up and not letting Kolibri start the things that we've known her for. That nice CQC, you see, close range aggression. There we go. But as you mentioned, start off with too much drive gauge. Now the shimmy will reset back to full screen. You spend all this bar, and you have to get right back in. This is hell.
And that's the problem. It's been shimmy so often, and Stealth is doing a stellar job of walking back for a couple of frames, making the throw in the sort of strike throw situation whiff, and then getting the better of the post interaction. I feel like Kolibri needs to recognize that's coming to the table, stop going for these delayed throws, and recognize Stealth is going to walk back, clip with a delay low forward.
Yeah, that might have to be the adjustment here. We're going to last round. Yeah, Kolibri's going down. OD expenditure right there, Stealth. Better off and not something about spending that bar. We'll definitely do so to get the victory. Set point in the cut. And I think more OD fireball will definitely help out against some of these normals. You know, you're sitting out Stand Fierce, medium. The perfect pairs are there, but to switch things up and so they can't amnesia, you have to use that bar for not drive rush. OD fireball would be fantastic.
Clipping with the low short that time. But yeah, it, you know, representing the low to be able to beat that out, an unfortunate trade, but nice wake up crouch jab. Meaty from that. Going for more, trying to backdash, going for some sort of a shimmy. Kolibri has not earned the respect from Stealth that they're playing for. Finding a back throw to steal the corner position though. Meaty donkey kick.
There we go. The low. DP level 3, expending all. That is a crazy amount of bar to have to expend to get the win right there. Kolibri just wants to get that momentum too. Sometimes like it looks like it's a lot and sometimes it is. But you just want that like mental push, like, hey, I can do this, I can still win. Even if it takes 3 bars to get the W, because I feel like Kolibri has only been using super to close things out, not really like get a lead or like use it for anything else. It's just to be able to close out the round. So definitely do this without the bar at the bottom, a little bit dry, but that's okay. Keep up your gauge in the green as much as possible.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? Because with the amount of health that Kolibri had, I think you could have played for, you know, 1 more interaction, saved the bar here. At such a meter deficit now, Stealth gets a massive lead the second they choose to cash out. Not even choosing to cash out there, getting incredible plus frames off of the portal, sending them back about a 40% lead there for Stealth. And it's the standing fierce is the mid-range poke option from Kolibri again, and it's just not working out.
Stealth with a big lead, the interruption off the drive rush, and the super 3-0 over Kolibri. Stealth. Not very stealthy when it comes to these aggressive moments off the drive rush, the stand fierces, but we'll definitely take it from there. That was fantastic. The stop is stuff. Someone like Kolibri who is so active with Hashogekis, drive rush, stand fierce, things like that, be so confident. That takes a lot of work itself. I mean, someone said it in the chat, MVCI God has seen the marvelous mixes, and he's like, you know, I'll put it on you and I'll keep away from your damage. So he'll be moving on to the bracket. Kolibri down to loser. So I want to see more of that Ryu action. We'll catch it down there. We'll see how far she's able to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I spent a lot of that set talking about it from the perspective of Kolibri. And you know, I think the reason that I did that was Stealth just felt very in control that whole time. You highlighted that, you know, Kolibri was really only able to cash out bar to try to secure a round. I think across that whole set, Kolibri only got 2 or 3 rounds. Otherwise, Stealth was in complete control, setting the pace entirely, was checking drive rushes, was ensuring that Kolibri was playing at the spaces that JP is effective at. And whenever Kolibri was in the driver's seat and was able to start playing with some offense, Stealth made the correct defensive decisions a lot of the time and turned Kolibri's spacing traps into spacing traps of their own, generating opportunities for themselves out of their opponent's opportunities. So, I mean, that was a pitch perfect performance.
Very well done. You know, definitely deserve that. And y'all are going to deserve more matches. We're going to have more coming up. It looks like it's going to be JAK versus HAMAD as our next winner's side match. But before we get to that, I just want to mention Roundhouse is coming up, people. That's the largest Midwestern regional. It's returning this year with over 20 official tournaments, September 26th to the 28th. It's in Glenview, Illinois. Again, I didn't get to go last year, but I saw it was a fun time. So I'm pulling up this year, and y'all should too. You know, again, 24-hour ballroom access. TNS and Low Kick will be streaming that. Free parking, by the way. I didn't even know that was a thing. And a bar and a restaurant in the venue. So I heard tales of a bar and a restaurant in the venue that were mad good. Oh, y'all better pull up, because I'm pulling up. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm going to get spicy on that Sunday. You feel me? So come hang out with us 26th, 28th in September. Have a good time.
Yeah, I see that it says every room is a suite at the venue too, which is, I mean, that's awesome.
Yo, that's sick. Hold up now. It's party time every night. I like that. And regional tournaments have that feel. Are you? Oh, you better bring the family. I mean, maybe not actually.
Yeah, you know. Well, you know what? My wife actually loves Chicago, so close enough. Pull up. You know, it's what, 45 minutes away from Chicago or something like that. So it ain't too far out the boundaries. Her cousin lives in Chicago. There we go. We got a place to stay. It's fine. We'll make it happen.
Nice. I like to hear it. All right, next match. HAMAD, JAK. JAK on the MAD. He's a MAD guy as long as he is a Foot Clan leader. So the mixed league's two characters can cover a lot of matchups. We'll see how MAD works. He's the one that took down Dual Kevin, I do believe. Put him in the losers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Right. JAK on the back foot immediately in terms of the drive gauge. Okay, a little bit of a strange interaction happening with the headbutts there, but HAMAD on the back foot.
Driver's fake out, looking for a button, tempo step, in the space trap, gets a stand fierce right after that, JAK. So it's clear to press a button, hold these hands. There's 100 of them. Hit it with a super HAMAD. Well done. Footsies, or hands, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, I feel like Honda's always been a pretty straightforward character in 6, but he's never really, like, he has damage to cash out when he wants to. And I'm a little bit intrigued. This is not a matchup that I can say that I would have seen super often, but I'm immediately intrigued by, you know, how Headbutt would interact with, like, my zoning tool isn't a zoning tool, right? Unless she charges it or she's empowered. So, you know, there's this element of her kit where Honda's turning himself into a projectile, and she needs to respect that. You can see JAK is using a lot more mid-range options, but having to commit to these fans to try to get stuff started, knocked down in the corner off with big jump in, hella plus frames from HAMAD, and great air-to-air.
Yeah, the jump back fierce was amazing. Into the command grab, get the kill, double cheeks. Yeah, sauced up with the OD. HAMAD with the victory. And as you're mentioning these things, like, I feel like the fireball element is good, but it has to be like OD or charge up fan. Like, it's different than going for Juri, where he can headbutt over the fireball. But there's some things that Juri, I think, presents, like with Stan Pierce. It's kind of switch up. So JAK might have to expend some drive gauge, you know, maybe to keep him out with the OD fan. But right now he's going to use that for the confirm towards the corner. But HAMAD definitely finds a headbutt and punishes double drive rush. Breaks the throw though. Oh, careful to cancel. God.
Love that. Oh my God, and catching the backdashes. The way that HAMAD is using headbutt as like a mid-range poke is super fascinating. Mai has these great mid-range buttons that are incredibly confirmable, but they all leave her with this lingering hurt box in mid-range. And if Honda's just outside of it, that headbutt is the perfect tool to be competing with something like her standing strong.
Yeah. This man is throwing ass and head right now, and it's all hitting. That one especially, with the OD, able to stock up, whip punish. New nerf to the character. These stand mediums have been toned down just a little bit. Falls in the fan. No pick up there, though. JAK, gonna hold parry against that. No DP. Want to see some of these against the jump fierce. She's got the range for it.
All right, goes for a shimmy off of that OD fan. We don't get anything for it. Just a neutral jump, not a back jump, unfortunately, so we could have gotten more out of it, taking the counter poke after the blocked headbutt. Shimmy works for HAMAD. Get the knockdown in the corner. What's the situation going to be? Okay. Empty jump set up into throw.
The clap this time instead of the command grab. Air to air. You'll take that trade any day of the week. Drive rush DP. Can you get something significant? JAK needs to get to like level 2 to square this away with like a decent combo. The most perfect of parries. We're turning blue. Hits a level 1 instead. He wants the fan, the buff, and the extensions off the DP up in the corner.
All right, having 4 more empowered fans. Another perfect parry would be enough to do it. Nice confirm off the low forward. Drive rush cancel there for JAK, getting around on the board. That was HAMAD's rounds to lose too. JAK definitely managed to squeeze every bit of life out of that opportunity.
Overhead landing right now. He saw the counter at this time, the blood splash. It's so difficult to perfect parry that. The time is going to be varied up by the Honda player. That's why people are like, yo, let's parry the butt slam. Not so simple. But going back to Mai though, her corner pressure is still insane in this game right now. You know, her nerfs that have happened to her definitely are more about the mid screen, but you can't really walk back. But HAMAD fighting fantastically with the hand off the stand medium. Headbutt, level 3, big lead, and burnout incoming for JAK.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see. So for JAK, it really comes down to, you know, when /out not even getting to level 3 as a result of that block. Oh,
Ooh.
Using the air throw to beat out the butt slam. Oh,
anti-air
level 3. It's not gonna work.
It doesn't work. The butt is too powerful. The cheeks are too powerful. Steel cheeks. Save the day, HAMAD. 2 games on JAK. Does he switch? Does he switch? He's got it. I feel like you got it.
I don't think he is.
You think he's staying with it? Is he staying with it?
This is a lot of black screen, and I can't tell if it's because we're going back to the lobby or if we're just really sitting here waiting.
Ooh, yo, don't keep me suspense like this. Come on. Come on. I need to see. I need to see if he switches. I feel like you know the matchup more as Juri, even if it is better for Mai, because he's played that so much with like Ramsey and other Honda players that he's had to fight, all 3 of them in the US, because there's not that many like harms or whatever. So like there's not that many, but you've had more practice with that character. Mai is a recent pick for him. He did take down Mago at CEO with this character, but obviously that was not Mago on Honda, that was Mago on Juri. So, you know, you can tell that he doesn't have the same sort of matchup ideation just yet. And it's not too far off, but HAMAD's footsies, his timings, his space traps, his callouts with the butt slams, and understanding that JAK is not comfortable dealing with these aerial approaches is letting him gain a ton of damage and a lot of bar juiced up right after these hits happen. So I feel like if you're JAK, me personally, I would switch. I'd be like, you know what? I run better with this character. I know the matchup better, even if it's worse. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it. So it's up to him. Yeah. It's up to him.
No, I agree with that. I think the matchup, with how those 2 games went, I think the matchup for Juri would need to be tremendously bad for me to not at least consider making the swap there down 2 games with the way that had been, especially with how strange some of those interactions had been. You know, and I highlighted it at one point, you know, the way that Mai is trying to poke in mid-range to control that space is like specifically blown up by headbutt and things like that. So it's the type of interaction where, to speak to your point, he's going to be more knowledgeable with Juri in how to deal with that, even if it's a matchup thing where like Mai ought to be able to play it better. That's only if you can execute.
Exactly. You have to be able to implement that game plan.
I am seeing that game 3 was played. It seems like it was just the spectator host that got DC'd, but from the chat, it looks like, so JAK's stream has it, and it looks like JAK just won game 3, and I think they said he did swap over to Juri.
Oh, he did? Okay, I see it right now. He did swap to the Juri. He looks a little bit more comfortable. You know, the foot dive and things like that got slightly different for this character, but she's still strong. She has a fantastic crouching medium punch to poke with, even though there's a hurt box. And I'm seeing him do things like drive rush TP that are catching that jump fierce that's lurching forward. He's able to block out things a little bit more actively because his mental stack isn't as high running a new character. And even these fireballs are catching the headbutts before they're even happening. Like, this guy is looking way more informed, as he should. I mean, he's played Ramsey a million times with this character. But HAMAD gets in, he spins the drive gauge, he puts himself in burnout. Don't get back thrown, HAMAD. Don't get back thrown. He just ass up in the corner.
I just pulled it up as well.
Yeah? Oh yeah, now he's in the corner. Now HAMAD's in the corner.
Level 2 activation. Yeah, that ought to be another round here for JAK. And yes, I'm hoping that I imagine we're ironing through the spectator client difficulties in the back, but as we and the people in the chat have said, the match is currently being played on JAK's stream as well. And yes, we are able to make the swap over. All
right, it's a little more informed right here from JAK. HAMAD not too far off though. Perfect parry against the headbutt. We've all got used to that since season 1. Meaty fireball to stop any sort of super from happening. There's a perfect parry and the fierce punish. Tempo step.
Okay. Oh, not feeling confident with their ability to anti-air in some of these spots as well. I think that's another thing where, like, the way JAK knows how to move with Juri is a significant difference, right? Like, there's a comfort from the character that's really gonna matter. Do we have the damage here, or are we gonna have to go for a reset? No, I think we
have to go for a
need
reset.
One additional knockdown. Just clips on a jump in, and that's just that.
I think with the parry changes, it feels like it's harder to parry things or even have the attempt to parry things because you have to hold back. You don't know if it's going to be a low. Sure, that sort of mix right there. You might go for like empty crouching light kick or something like that. And that makes that offense in those moments become a lot more real. Like before we knew how to parry, things like that become a lot more real. So I think that level 2 got more dangerous.
Okay. Finding the command grab, HAMAD trying to inch their way forward, get this round back to themselves, but you can see the difference, right? Like JAK is just doing a more effective job at controlling that mid-range, still clipping the DR though. JAK is doing this thing where like they'll hit parry and fish for like a perfect parry pump in mid-range, and then there's this delay before they go for the drive rush, and HAMAD has checked it every time.
Not able to get the grab though. No free hugs here. Stand for your starter. Another level 2, something JAK is known for more often than I think other Juri players, which lets them squeeze the most out of the character. At level 2 really equalizes. HAMAD, yeah, you can't do that. There's a big enough gap where JAK was able to react to get that reverse beat combo. Set point here for JAK, it looks like.
Okay, headbutt clips, letting the stomp run through that time, and now recognizing, like you said, JAK is going to be checking that, slowly working JAK into the corner. HAMAD having to surrender a little bit of space because they're not doing as effective of a job as stopping that forward movement. No anti-air and a back throw from JAK earns JAK some corner control.
Swing parry, there's a headbutt, lands in time to stay fine. That jump light kick has been doing a lot where HAMAD hasn't been able to headbutt right back against it or anti-air it. And now the overhead, of course, a JAK special. Just when's it gonna come?
Okay, neutral jump, finding the anti-air instead. Drive rush low, but it's too far away for HAMAD to get a whole lot out of it. Nice pickup. Are we going to cash out into level 3? I don't know if that was like a reset attempt or if we just like whiffed a special move input. I'm not rightly sure. JAK very near burnout though. Air to air works out for HAMAD. If HAMAD's able to secure this round, then saving that bar will have been huge, and indeed it does so. This is true set point with HAMAD sitting on 3 bars, JAK at 2.5.
I like how he walked back to avoid get back to a scenario where JAK would have harassed like level 2. Very smart stuff to not get got in. As you mentioned, level 3 on the menu. Just when is he going to serve it up? Whipping that same medium. Where's the whip punish here, JAK? You got the stand fierce, rebuttal back, punish counter, knockdown, command grab. Damage is racking up. Too many cheeks.
Just waiting it out. This is such a big life lead for HAMAD. Both of them having level 3 available, so there's a big equalizer at any opportunity if JAK finds the right hit. But HAMAD can afford to try to play this a little bit slower. Unfortunately, walks into a poke from JAK, finding the knockdown in the corner. Throw, gets teched. My DR beats your DR.
Drive rush stand light kick of all buttons right there. Then with a toe tap. The stuffer. Anti with the crouch fear, stocks up, headbutt. Bro, one confirm. A headbutt confirm into level 3 will be the victory. It's just, can he get it? Can HAMAD get this?
I think with the right starter, JAK actually could. Okay, that ought to be it for HAMAD. And indeed it will be. We had damage to spare. JAK almost brought it all the way back. I think the right starter there into CA may well have still turned out to be JAK's game. But HAMAD clinching it against the Mai and the Juri, absolutely earning that winner's side placement on the winner's finals against Stealth. And okay.
Wow.
I mean, how are people's fantasy brackets looking?
There is none. They're all ripped up. They're all destroyed. JAK and losers. But I'll tell you one thing. HAMAD probably likes this next matchup going up against Stealth. He just played against Rave. I just watched him play on that stream, and he looked like he knew how to play that matchup very well. Kept it nice and close, and was able to headbutt the fireballs continuously. So we'll see what happens. Stealth obviously going to be different in terms of his approach on offense. So we'll see that a little bit later on for winners finals. But Honda still alive, and JP obviously that's $1 million character. He's going to be alive for a long time. Yeah. But it's JAK and losers. We'll see what that switch up for his characters is going to be. I wonder if he would have switched to Juri, if that would have been different for him. But we have the bracket up right now. 3-0 Stealth and KOLIBRI. JAK, HAMAD, that was a 2-3 and HAMAD taking that. Now we're going to go down to Sevens versus YUNGTATE. I have not seen Sevens play in Street Fighter 6, at least this season. So I'm wondering who he's playing. YUNGTATE I saw on the Luke. That's a mid-best Chicagoan right there. Shouts out to Ignite. This cat is sick on the Luke. Sevens also has been in a lot of top 8s every so often whenever he appears for like a World Warrior. So it's not, strange to see him out here, but I'm curious to see what he's going to be playing. And then, of course, Mia versus Marv. Shout out to Marv. He got 9th over at TNS, and he's been competing a lot more. And we always love to see Marv out here with the Ken and whatever character he wants to cook up with. That's a show, though.
Hey, that's the MO, right? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be excited to see this. And you talked about the $1 million character with JP thing, right? Like, obviously that's been the meme for a hot minute. I feel like there was a brief window of time where people felt like JP wasn't a real character anymore. I think rumors of his demise were greatly exaggerated. Right? Because here he still is. But there is something interesting to be said that, you know, we're here, the first of the World Warrior events for the 3rd year of Street Fighter 6, and it's Honda JP in winners finals. There's an element that feels like, is it month 1, year 1 already?
I feel you. Back in the day where people thought that A, Honda beat JP, B, JP not that strong.
Yeah.
And
Modern Honda was going to be the end all be all of all gameplay, because how could you possibly react to it?
You can't parry that character. Also, people would get into Master with Honda and be like, yo, I made it into Master. I never thought I'd do it. Bro, I'm a godlike player. Like, you had everybody getting Master with Honda feeling like they was an absolute G out here. But you know what? As you mentioned, people got used to the character. Same with JP. Yeah, he was kind of cracked in the season 1, but people got used to that character in terms of fighting him. I'm sorry, Bunch. To say it as it is, that character's always been good. Even in season 2, he was good. He got some stuff back, but he is better now, but I think he's always been good.
Yeah, no, anybody that doesn't know, Bunch is and has always been a JP apologist. He has been approximately correct for exactly like a 2-month window of JP's life. And then they like undid one of the nerfs to him, and he immediately went back to like, all right, cool, there's not really much wrong with this character, and he's doing exactly what he should be doing. I mean, he's an Undernight character in a Street Fighter game. Or sometimes I liken him to like an NRS style zoner, where he's in NRS titles. It feels like it's very important for zoning style characters you need to get set up, right? Like having the initiative and having your opponent be reacting to a fireball is what earns you the next one, and so on and so forth. It's a lot less interactive than in Street Fighter titles. JP very much feels like that, where once you start blocking JP, it feels so insurmountable, because it feels like he doesn't care about what you're going to do against him. He's still getting the better of a lot of these interactions because it's so immediate and you need to respect it.
Yep, it's a departure, man. I'm telling you, since season 1, it's always been departure. That's been the strongest point of his toolkit. When I was talking to Renz one day, he was like, yeah, man, departure's crack because of this, this, and this, the lockdown. That's the reason why. It's a lot of things for these characters that you look at and you're like, this is really good. For Terry, it's actually, I think part of it is honestly a stand medium punch, which has gotten way better. More confirmable, way better of a poke. The medium tools in general have been better for him in this new patch, so more consistency. For Luke, though, his stability overall for all of his tools has been really good, but I think the heavy kick is going to be important in this match. It'll clip crouching medium kick. It's actually tailor-made to deal with the Shoto button, so we'll see if YUNGTATE has to even use that. Sevens on the Terry, you know what, that makes sense. Sevens used to be a Lucia player, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, finding the crouch fierce into fireball. YUNGTATE trying to inch their way forward. Okay. Oh, just barely not clipping after the fall down there. Bare knuckle does get clipped, and YUNGTATE having to spend a lot of drive gauge to try to keep this going on the back foot in terms of drive, even though they do have a slight life advantage. And this is so far looking like a real scrapey kind of match between these two characters.
Oh yeah, the drive impact. No cancel from Tate. Oh, Super's gonna come through. But instead, it's Sevens getting the better off of that DI. And thank you for the correction. One way to God, Jesus, is Ken that he used to play. So even more, it makes sense that he played Terry.
Terry's kit just feels so designed to be setting up spacing traps, even in that spot where like the early standing jab out of DR and then the crouching jab ends up a spacing trap. But you can see that YUNGTATE is actually being pretty patient. The chief defensive choice has just been empty neutral jump. Sevens getting wise to it. Now having them pushed farther forward, 3 bars on both sides, and really fishing with these mid-range buttons a little bit too early with the crouching fierce, and YUNGTATE gets jumped on and killed for their trouble. Level 3 out of Sevens.
If that had been an actual DP, he would have hit that, knocked that away. That's the kind of the crazy thing. And even with these neutral jumps, there was one where Tate did jump heavy kick, and had he not extended a button, he wouldn't have got hit at all. You know, so woulda, coulda, shoulda, but something that Tate has to look at and say, okay, either I commit to the anti option, don't commit to a neutral jump option, maybe to call out the burn knuckle. I understand the intent, but have to be careful because the damage is racking up. Sevens with the space trap, as you mentioned, this character, very well done. Drive rush throw on the tap parry attempt. Drive gauge not looking so good.
All right, puts himself in burnout, up, back. does get met. Sevens perfectly content to lose the corner here because now you get to bully him. No bar on the side of YUNGTATE to do anything about it. When is the DI coming? Level 1 just happened. Are we going to try to play for the stun? No, recognizes the up back, finds the anti-air, and now YUNGTATE out of burnout, but has lost so much of their life as a result. Gets the side swap, but clipped trying to walk back by the crouching jab. Seven still in the driver's seat. Nice low forward to try to press the issue, but straight back into burnout, and we're resetting back to neutral. Burn knuckle as a poke, clicks it out.
Just lets it rip. You know, honestly, with the health advantage, why not? Let that sucker go. Sevens up a game and a round. Not going for the anti right there. Trying to go for the throw underneath. Tech immediately. And as you tech, again, you're going to develop that bar at the bottom. And obviously the drive gauge, but more importantly, the meter, the SA gauge, get closer to that super. Even better for Sevens because that level 2 is nasty. Yeah, target combo, back to mid-screen, ODDP. Let it rip.
Yeah, I feel like Sevens is just straight winning the ground game between these two. The whiff punish game has been super solid. YUNGTATE feels like, I don't know if there's an unfamiliarity with the character. That being said, misspaces that burn knuckle, but gets a little bit too hungry off that frame advantage. The delay button off of the DR. One more touch will do it for Sevens, but one more touch will do it for YUNGTATE as well, depending on how much resource they choose to expend.
No gaps.
The throw.
No gaps, Tate. He's trying to itch his way in. Careful now.
Look at that buffer.
No way, the DA! He tried to go for the back fist and it misses completely. Sevens was looking for that option. Hops over, definitely it deals with the damage. The Rising Fang to get the kill. Sevens is on one.
Yo, I gotta say, look, like everyone and their mother saw Sevens churning and buffering that reversal super in the corner there. Like, getting jumped, yeah, that's tragic. But I gotta tell you, that DI was getting supered if it wasn't getting jumped.
Oh my god, bro. YUNGTATE at least hits the brakes right here, baits out the ODDP. Big damage incoming with the perfect knuckles, heavy ender up in the corner, meaty crushing, medium punch, Seven respects, jumps out, takes a little bit of damage, but it could have been worse. Perfect parry, but you can't drive rush right after. You don't want to expend all that bar and be a burnout. Anti-air, there we go, deep with it.
Ooh, wake up low short, catches a shimmy attempt coming out of YUNGTATE, but YUNGTATE's jab checks are able to secure a round for them, finally finding some signs of life here.
Box him out, box him out. Fireball's also switching up how the approach is from Tate. Buttons and fireballs as Sevens gets closer. Now Sevens trying to get some of these fireballs too. Okay. Yes, it's a new buff to the crack shoots. You can go with the fireballs a little bit easier. It's the heavy one.
Ooh, that DI getting blocked, but I mean, the chip damage to the drive gauge was enough to make that valuable here for Sevens, finding the back throw off of the jump, and now YUNGTATE stuck in the corner. Oh, that's unfortunate that ended up a back throw.
Yeah, you can chase him down with the fireball. He's content to do so. Holding parry wasn't minus enough to get punished. Lucky boy. Crouch to kick into the fireball, try to get the space trap. Tate respecting, now finding his own mediums. The hefty amount of damage. Heavy knuckle, no level 3 just yet. Chaser for the Oki. I'm surprised Sevens didn't go for a DP attempt because that's assured. But I'm assure you that should have been it. That should have been it, bro. Level 3.
Dude, what are you trying to do to my blood pressure? Jab check. Any of these touches. Okay, now Sevens in burnout. You got to be worried. Look at the patience coming out. Oh, level 3. Did he hit a button? No. I respect it.
Ooh. Man, give me that hypertension. Relax. Relax, Tate. I thought he did pull back a lot in some of these scenarios, so hit the brakes with the drive rush and not just going for a button right after. And now just letting Sevens kind of hang himself here and there. Up a game. Finally, we see one on the board. Lay him on the mat with a throw. Tate looking way better.
All right, no check on the DR. Back throw from Sevens, drive gauge and positional advantage. Nice whiff punish on the low forward. Yeah, there's been a lot of fishing with that low forward and these spacing traps. Back to mid-range, up back on wake up from Sevens. Up back has been a defensive choice out of Sevens a lot.
Wonder if Tate can kind of chase that down.
I like that.
Level 1 if he wants to expend the bar, but Bar's finisher right here with the Buster Wolf. In that fake out fireball, burns out Tate. You try to perfect parry, hold this overhead, and a DI. Yeah, we do the frame kill heavy.
Gonna get big damage.
Oh, you are a Terry player for real, for real. You're not a ride by the night sort of Terry player. But you did not kill that jab will, though. Light touch. Something light.
And that's set point now for Sevens. Waiting it out, big jump in, and we don't even need the jump in button. We just get the landing frames nice into knockdown, meaty fireball, and it whips. It baits the perfect parry on wake up. Oh my God, Sevens living rent-free in YUNGTATE's head right now, looking rent-controlled. Shimmy connects.
The super to kill Sevens. just in there, not leaving, not paying utilities. But we'll take the victory right there. Tay had some good moments, but the offense and the stability of how he was playing was just way better. Burning out Tate, playing around that intention of like, oh, you want to parry? I'll do this fake ass fireball right outside the range. You saw the frame kill in the corner. This man is a Terry player. He's been a Terry player. He'll continue to be a Terry player. Like, there's some people that will play, like, pick up Terry, be like, you don't play Terry, he's strong, and you'll get to a certain point, but you got to be a real deal Terry player to make it to these top spots out here, these World Warriors, or any sort of big tournament with killers. So you can see that with the way that Seven is playing. But yo, shout out to Tate. Our first loss of the day in terms of a body bag, but he ain't gonna go out sad because that man did get some points out here. So if he keeps it up, he might still be in that top 8 contention at the finale.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was nerves, if it was just some raw execution mistakes, I don't know, but there were some spots there where YUNGTATE was getting limbs that like definitely ought to have been canceled into specials or supers that we weren't seeing. And you know, if I don't mean to suggest that YUNGTATE wasn't operating in 100% capacity, right? Because like that feels low-key disrespectful to suggest. But if that extra little bit was squeezed out of it, how different would this be? Because some of those rounds were so close. And yeah, Sevens played that immaculately, but there were definitely some scrapey rounds. And, you know, if Tate's able to not have it slip through their fingers in quite the same way that it was, then, you know, maybe that goes a little bit differently. Maybe that's something to pay attention to as you're prepping for the next one, right? There's more of these to come. We got a whole circuit of World Warrior to be playing through. You got ample time to correct on these difficulties. Watch the tapes, figure out where you went wrong, and come prepared for next time.
And get prepared for other tournaments that are coming up. You know, as you mentioned, there's things outside of these CPT events. There's the mid-best 3v3. Which has what it takes to prove that they're the mid-best. You guys can go support not only Roundhouse, but not only Low Kick, but also the home of the mid-best tournament that's coming up. The 3v3 has always been super exciting for the mid-best. And we've had some of the best quality matches over the past couple of years. You can see it right here every so often when it pops up. But we're gonna have places like Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, and Wisconsin. You can play in the qualifiers to see who's going to be the mid-best team and qualify for your team out here for that 3v3. And the smack talk has been absolutely insane every single year. I hope that it continues this year. I hope it's even spicier. So shouts out to Low Kick and all the applicable locals that are having this and hosting this for these players. Give them something to play for beyond just the CPTs or whatever tournaments are coming on, online or offline. Appreciate them for giving these players, these warriors, something else to work for.
Yeah, I see very slight aside, somebody in chat, 34 in chat goes, yeah, numbers on top. I'm almost divisible by 7. I thought fighting game players could only count plus and minus. I'm pleased to see that there's multiplication and division in the curriculum, because I thought beyond like +5, -5, I didn't know that we bothered to think about math that much harder than that.
I didn't even know fighting game players even bother to think about math. They just say you only. I can't say that on here. I can't say that on this.
Sometimes,
but you know,
sometimes the math don't matter. Sometimes it's just plus or minus.
You only a wuss. You know, if you're scared, I can't say the rest of it. So I can't say the full thing, but y'all understand. You know, some of us
feel like what Cole is trying to say is he doesn't play with the numbers, he plays with his heart.
Yeah, I'm a Noah type player, bro. I went up to Noah one day after the patch drop, and I was like, hey, man, you read the patch notes? He's like, no, I haven't. What happened to Luke? I'm like, you've been playing for the past 2 weeks on rank, and you ain't read the patch notes. You don't even care what happened to Luke. You're like, yeah, man, whatever. Like, okay, bro. But you know what? Some players are better like that. If they know the numbers, they're actually worse off. If you start trying to teach them numbers or what things mean for meetings and stuff like that, it makes it worse off for them. So, you know what? If that's not your grab, that's not your bag. He says me. I'm mad guilty of that, because what happens is the second I realize the system, I start to play within the rules of it, and like the value. The value of being a feel-based player is you're not worried about whether what you're doing is wrong or not. So I feel like at the highest level, frame data is just the framework of the conversation happening between the two players. And the knowledge of it is what sets the context, but what you do within that context is what's important. I am a person who, when I understand the context, I get too rigid in it. So I start to be like, well, I never get past layer 1, because once I know the frame data, I know what layer 1 is. And then I can't get past it.
Field-based players accidentally land on layer 1 sometimes, but other times they're playing layer 2, layer 3, and it's because they're playing based on what they think their opponent's thinking. And that's where you need to end up eventually.
Eventually. But, you know, for some of these field-based players, they're just like, I don't even know that there are layers going on. I thought everything was just on a flat plane. They were flat earthers all along. So, you know, sometimes it works out for them, sometimes it doesn't, you know. But I will say this, though, whatever way that you can learn or apply those things in the game is the right way if you're getting victories, right? You know, I'm not gonna tell Noah to learn data, but I'm not gonna tell a database player to not do that, you know, if they're working around that. And some players kind of fade in and out of those areas. Like Lashar was very much more of like a very rigid type of player, very much more of like a machine. But now he's leading into that field-based system where he starts to recognize what the other person's thinking, how they're feeling, and plays around that. It frustrates them. I feel like that's also helped him in his stability too as well. So for some players, it's like going back and forth, you know, hitting that Harvey Dent, if you will.
The Harvey Dent. I like that.
The Two-Face. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality is if you had to Frankenstein the perfect fighting game player, they know frame data, but they know not to be limited by it.
Yeah. They're not held
They know
back.
frame data, they just don't respect it.
You know, it's like the graph. It's like the bell graph of like, you start as a peon. You get to that, you know, king level right there, and then you go right back to being a peon because you're not beholden to the frame data. Yeah. We'll see who's beholden to being out of this tournament. It's going to be Mia up here. Wow. Okay, hold up now. Wait a minute.
Mia on my?
What
we got some anagram character choices?
Brother, she be playing the Sim, she be playing the Lily, and now the Mai. All right. I understand.
We got Marv on the Ken, already being smacked around in the corner again. Violent Ken looking a little bit passive in the moment.
There we go. Stand like kicking the Geki. The Jinrai. Seeing too much Ryu. Doesn't get some distance, but there's the OD Fireball to lock him down.
All right. Trying to work their way forward. A lot of fishing. Oh, okay. The low forward ends up getting the better of, I think that was Standing Fierce. I don't remember if that's Standing Strong or Standing Fierce, but run stop pressure getting in the corner. And the tip of Ken's low forward just catching the walk back from Mia. Plus frames goes for the shimmy. The low forward once again.
Triple Jinrai. Should be close to burnout. Community Fireball after if you want to. Delays a little bit, gets to counter it. What a slight delay, a nanosecond delay. Gets a counter conversion. Marv taking the first round.
That's layer 2. Meaty Fireball would have been great because you're like, well, if they block the Meaty Fireball, you can't super. Block Meaty Fireball, you get burnout. But you sit there and it's like, well, of course they're going to parry the Meaty Fireball. It's the right decision. So you go for something else that beats it, and you go for a more delayed choice that blows that up. Mia with another explosive opening to this round, but these parry pumps, Marv is specifically playing around Mia going for parries in certain situations. Even if the parry isn't happening, you can see that it's very much where Marv is structuring his offense.
You know, offense, that stand medium as a stop side tool, baits off the ODDP, gets a back throw, optimal to get the bar built up. I mean, she already had level 3, so probably something that she's going to do regardless. But either way, round to round right now, Mia pulling it back from the brink. Not even a whip punch, just catching him low. Level 1 immediately to get the stocks up. That means more pressure up in the corner if we get there.
Oh, okay. DR into nothing, finds the back throw. Ken, I think, has maybe the best back throw in the game. He gets so much corner carry out of it.
Really does. I mean, all of his kids about that corner carry. And that's why he's
really is.
I mean, ProbMax calling him Jason Voorhees. This is Ken Voorhees right there. You keep trying to kill him, keep trying to nerf him, he will never die because his corner carry, his win condition is always there. But Mia with the confirm. One more confirm in a level 3 for the victory. One touch.
All right, plus frames, jab check, but I don't know if that was a trade combo or what, but continue to move forward. Marv doesn't want to cash out the CA just yet, wants to get all of the mileage out of this burnout that they can, but the level 3 cash out from Mia is going to secure this first game.
Yeah, I think I want to go for the trade on the Dragon Lash, but unfortunately, Mia just waited, took her turn right after, caught the counter hit because Marv tried to take a button right after it and lands for the first game. So stability with the character is really good. The stand medium is really good against that drive rush pressure that Marv is exemplifying. OD Fireball, which you can. And now the perfect parries are back on the menu against the Fireballs. Take that trade any day of the week if you're Mia.
absolutely playing that fireball. The way that Marv is trying to use his standing short, I think, is really effective in this matchup as well. Low forward, connecting, but like the amount of respect that you need to have there. Okay, the way that they're both able to check each other for blocked pokes at max range, but they're not close enough to get anything meaningfully off of it is so fascinating. Mia, very low on drive gauge, finding the DP. That was the very last second, 11th hour DP from Marv.
Reversal jab. These jabs have been money right now. On the wake up, when Marv wants to press his buttons, she's just interrupting perfectly and putting him right over the corner. Her meter with Oki is pretty damn good. Impact right back at the last second. She'll be able to side switch, neutral jump. There we go. Enhanced Dragon Lash. DP enter. We want the damage. Stand fierce, run cancel. Fake stuff is real. OD fireball. Yeah, see, we see that against a possible level 1 scenario this time. Marv, no commitment on that low. You better put a ring on it. No prenup. You better commit, my guy.
Right, the low clips. One more touch will do it, but Mia has the resources to cash this one out. Goes into the full level 3 to secure that one. I mean, it gets you the round. It's unfortunate that you had to throw all of your bar at it, but we get the round. You have 2 additional rounds to play with to earn that back, and Marv wasn't able to seal the deal.
Yeah, that low forward, if he had gone for it, would have been great, but I get it. You don't put yourself close to burnout. Easier said than done. You can't really hit confirm in this game with the lows as you would in 5. It's kind of sitting it out. So the Gen Y works out so well. Let's see OD rip. That's big for Marv. Less bar you have to deal with.
Oh my god, the way that they're trying to dance around each other's pokes, finally finding the whiff punish on the standing fierce. There is Mia, and catches the backdash with the delay, crouching strong. Waiting
almost got whip punish.
Healthy life lead. Ooh.
What? Yo, that's a quick button. That stand medium is actually a really good button right there when you're nice and close. And comfortable with it as Marv. Should just need level 1. No, level 2 is what he's going to spin here. Couldn't get the bar to get that OD side switch at level 1. Wants to ensure the victory. Yeah, I agree. Spin to win. Hit that Chiku Jinrai and put a round on the board and possibly a game, depending what's coming up next here. Anti-air.
Yeah, that was a pretty naked jump. No, the invincibility frames run out on the DP, and a fast level 1 from Mia wants those flame stocks. Marv has been living in this P2 side corner.
You gotta leave. Impact. You can't do that. The enhancement with the OD makes it 10 times harder to hit. Level 2, it's almost enough. Yes, it is with the follow-up right after. I always forget with the enhancement, with that DP right after, and Mia knew what to do. Listen, doesn't matter what character it is. The Sim, the Lily, she's still cooking. The apron's on, and right now Marv's on the menu. This is not looking good. Do we switch to a different character, to Cammy? He does have that character. I've seen it over at TNS. We've seen it over in 5, I believe. I mean, he can play a lot of characters too as well. It might be the switch.
Yeah, it looks like it is, in fact, going to be the Cammy. I mean, like, the damage, both of these, SNK guest characters, if they have a level 2 available, they can cash out so much damage. It's like,
that's true.
And Capcom did such a fantastic job of realizing some of the ways that these characters can spit out damage in their titles, right? Like some of the combo routes when you have resources available to them in their respective titles are so fascinating, and they definitely realized that really well with both Mai and Terry in this title. Mai still firmly driving, finding the throw. Marv on the new character, but it's looking like an old circumstance. Throw looped in the corner, P2 side once again.
The dive kick, the overhead. I thought it was gonna actually hit, but Marv was able to block that out. Excuse me, back throw. All right, we're out of the corner. A lot more work to do. The pokes are coming through with the stand medium. OD fireball. She keeps the bar for these moments, but no conversion into anything significant for Oki. There we go. Gets the pickup. Spiral arrow DP because they're up in the corner. Wake up super. Trying to go for the throw. No, the wake up super saves the day. Puts her on set point, and Marv try to go for the same throw loop scenario. That's my game plan.
All right, going for the jump, gets away with it. I think maybe there was a little bit of implicit fear of the dive kick. Finally getting a little bit of mileage here is Marv. Gets another knockdown. Nice delay meaty setup there. And now Cammy gets to run the strike throw offense in the corner.
Oh, yes,
throw number 2. Please just throw him to death at this point.
It would have worked.
Going for the delay again.
Yeah.
Marv really favors that slight delay meaty.
Yeah, just like hanging back like a second just to see what's going to happen. Be a big button. The DP, but you put yourself in burnout. You do have CA. So I would maybe think maybe level 2 is going to come through, or maybe level 1. Get your bar back up, but the raw OD Spiral Arrow, of course, is going to hit. Would have probably chipped out regardless. Either way, we see more signs of life here from Marv.
Right. And again, I mean, Mia seems very content to just accept that Marv is going to go for these slightly longer delays, but there's not a whole lot behind them once they happen, right? Like, Marv squeezes as much life out of every bit of frame advantage that he has, but then he runs out of steam, and Mia seems pretty content to just deal with that. Nice shimmy works out there for Marv. 3 bars on both sides here. Mia, one more touch ought to put them in CA, so you know Marv wants to cash this out all the way. You don't want an errant poke to happen here. You want to be able to kill on the next touch.
Dive kick definitely help out.
Drive rush.
Jumping in. Yeah, you got to hold back just a little bit if you're Marv. Poke with the Stampede kick to get the bar back. Slowly but surely. Counter Stampede kick could lead into something. Breaks the throw. Mia. Oh, you almost got whip punish for the overhead. Marv backing off. Oh, one touch. You can't throw a fireball here.
Execution mistake even.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm clenched. Stampede finds the board. Yeah. Got to spin to win.
Into CA. I don't think it's enough.
I don't think it is either. I don't think so. Even with the Stampede starter. Wait. It's CA.
But you're in
wait,
burnout.
it's CA.
No,
That's
it's not enough.
Wake up. Breaks the throw.
All right.
No, wait, there it is. Yes. It was so late, but so on time. That was deep fish the list. Deep with it, Marv. I thought that wasn't going to hit. That was like white people timing right there. Late, but right on time. I love that, Marv. All right, up a game now. Got one on the board.
I don't know what the hell to say in response to that. Going for the target combo here is Mia. We got the plus frames off of the OD fan, finding a throw for it. Marv's still on the back foot, but that first game is what we needed to get it started. Going for a whip punish. We're not quite going to find it. OD fan wanted for the back throw, but a little bit off in terms of the timing.
The jabs, waiting a little bit. Like that. There's no big commitment buttons from Marv to not overextend to get a button like crossed up or whatever. Mia not having the proper combo or the proper distance to get that counter conversion right there. Does land the anti-air in burnout, but definitely in the lead. You'll take whatever trades happen. You can back off, or you'll just jab it out, dab it out. Final round to Mia. Can she take this all the way?
Oh, whiff punish, but it's only a crouching jab, so we don't get much for it. Okay. Through the OD fan. Thank you for the resource. I'm going to keep you in the corner. And the parry on the wake up level 1. Marv getting a little bit wise to it. And no stocks for Mia because it didn't actually connect.
That's a nerve.
Nice throw tech.
Right, the heavy kick able to hit. Punish counters to get that crumple. Oki. Drive rush. The fake out. Mia and burnout. But still has that level 2 as we mentioned. A lot of damage could be coming through. Counter poke. Right in the medium. DP ender. We get the pickup after that. That is sick. Marv. Block it out.
Oh, no,
got hit with the level 1.
Got the stores. This is huge. Oh, but Marv ought to be able to cash this out, not even needing to spend any bar. Huge. 3 bars to just shy of 2. Going into, it could be set point, or you could be bringing this to a game 5 if you're Marv. I love that we're finally incorporating the dive kick. I feel like the Cammy switch happened, but dive kick has taken a little bit to get incorporated into the neutral. I love that we're finally seeing it.
That means less with like bigger buttons like heavy kick, stay in fear, stay in medium. You can't throw those buttons out. Reckless abandon. Interrupted the OD fireball. Big waste of bar. As I say that, Mia don't care. Hits him on the ground, gets a punish counter. ODDP from Marv with the big bust out. Cammy White trying to make the snowfall. But can you get that level 3 off? Oh, no conversion just yet. I thought maybe into burnout possibly. This is the back medium off the drive rush. That's usually a plus frame scenario, a starter.
Oh, interesting. I was so ready to drive reversal there, but Marv is smarter than me. Unfortunately, level 2 is going to connect. That's going to be enough to do it. Mia clinches it out 3-1. The Cammy switch almost brings it the distance there for Marv, but just barely doesn't make it happen. It was certainly the better character choice, though. I think there was far more participation in the neutral game from Cammy than there was from Ken.
That's the way to put it. There's a way to play that matchup as Ken, and I think that if you're Marv, you'll probably have to look to like Tokido and a few other Kens, like I think that are in the EU as well, that play that matchup really well. And it's really about like walkie blocking and parrying and like drive rush jab and stuff like that, that stop and stuff what she wants to do and dissuades her from throwing out her fans. That was like how it was in season 2, and it's even more so in season 3. But he definitely looked more comfortable with the Cammy. The dive kicks, as you mentioned, started putting more pause on Mia where she had to take some risks to throw out that heavy kick. But in the reverse of things, she's such a sound fundamental player, right? With the jabs, what you want to do, reading what you want to do, predicting it perfectly, getting counter conversions. put you towards the corner. And I feel like Mai this season, she's strong, but she not just like simpleton strong. She used to be OD fan, normal fan, whatever, you know, just they're only fans, right? However, now you have to use her buttons. You have to use meaty steps and stuff like that. Accessing more of the character. She's still easier than other characters, but she's more interactable than what she used to be. So to take her to top spot, you know, despite what people say, maybe even the my players, I think it still takes work, and it's well rewarded. Mia is just an absolute goddamn prodigy. You know, she's always been like that in every fighting game she plays. So seeing her move on is great. You know, shouts out to Marv though. Want to see you with more tournaments, brother. Keep playing more TNS. Keep playing more can openers and stuff like that, Brody. I'm trying to see you everywhere. Go travel too. Same with Mia. But next match, who we got?
So we're going to be playing both of our losers quarterfinal matches. So it's going to be JAK and Sevens, and then KOLIBRI and Mia. Reminding everybody, the winners finals waiting is Stealth and HAMAD. So we got a wild bracket still to go. I am double checking in the Discord. I think we're going to be doing JAK Sevens first, but some voice of God will yell in my ear if I'm wrong. And you know, that's fine. It won't make a religious man out of me, but I'll just correct myself. You can see the bracket there before you. Yes, I am hearing confirmation that it's JAK 7. So I wonder, is JAK going to rock the Mai once again, or are we just going to stick Juri the whole way through at this point?
I wonder, are we going to get an S&K set? Or we're going to get something classic with him playing the Juri? I feel like if you're in loser side, you kind of testing out these characters in the winner side, it may have to be your real deal. You are the leader of the Foot Clan. All right, stand up. 10 toes down, right, JAK? All right, there we go with the Juri and Sevens, of course, on the Terry.
Yeah, I'm gonna be intrigued about this one. Both characters with that ground-focused fireball, but I feel like one of the things that's weird about Terry is I feel like the way Terry's fireball interacts with the rest of the fireballs in the roster was always really interesting. But I think that strange behavior sort of goes away with Juri because her fireball sort of behaves the same way. So we end up in this, you know, mid-range game instead, and now you get to rely with Juri on her stellar drive rush, the amount of mid-range control she gets, her great low forward, and JAK getting a lot of mileage out of just sitting in the driver's seat and really owning the mid-range pressure. Doesn't get the anti-air on that jump though.
Throw fireball right after. No, we come to fireball. We actually hit the break, but that's too close for comfort. Get clapped. Yeah, really terrible. You know, the timing's kind of hard actually, because you're hoping that they kind of walk back after that wake up to make it at least minus up where they're not punishable. Didn't happen there. Driver's crouching light kick. Seven's going to try to engage. But yeah, I think the fireball play is going to be very important here for JAK to stop the burn knuckles from being sent out and hold down the neutral. Even if he can't answer back with the fireballs. Jab, jab, DP, drive, rush, stand fierce. Hella plus.
Yo, I love that little air-to-air jump light kick interaction we saw out of Sevens, and keeping JAK locked down in the corner over the fireball once again, just waiting it out. What a smart backdash from JAK, and blocking out the DP, even finding the side switch there to steal the corner control. And there's the level 2. How far is JAK gonna push this? Goes for the DI combo route, so puts 7 into burnout. Routing this very specifically to ensure that JAK gets more drive gauge back, getting every little bit out of that level 2 that they can before they go for any sort of DI in the corner. But also we've seen that Sevens is ready with the counter DI tech.
Yeah, nice up the corner. Did he block it out? Clipped. Yes, he did. Even better. Help parry much far as possible. JAK and I had to expend every bit of that drive gauge, just enough to get the kill. And, you know, if there's someone that understands corner pressure, it's going to be JAK. You know, Juri, one of the best at doing so with the fireball, stand fierce, crouching medium punches, the walk speed, the back walk speed. It's all good for her to be able to understand what they want to do up in the corner. Drive rush back, though, to start things off, though. Sevens with the fireball. You see a lot of preventive or starting off fireballs to stop like a fireball coming from JAK, right? Like you want to do that so he can't stuff you, so you can start throwing out your burn knuckles. And as you do so, careful now, the jump in happens.
Ooh. OD fireball connects. We wanted to get some frame advantage for the roundhouse, but it's not going to work because JAK cashes out. JAK with very little drive gauge here. Nice jump in, but actually has the time to anti-air there to Sevens, finding the throw, pushing JAK more towards the corner. Sevens is spending so much drive gauge. I keep feeling like JAK is on the back foot, but then in order to keep the momentum going, Sevens puts himself in just as tumultuous a situation, going for the parry. Low short connects there for Sevens to secure that round. I thought that was very close to falling out of his hands.
Just a tip. Just enough to do it. I like these non-committal buttons too as well. Oh, overhead orator, that is Jack. Blessing the dome, not gonna go for the, maybe try to go for the anti-air because I saw the counter it, or maybe try to go for crouching medium punch. Sweep for the fireball, fake out, hits him with the second fireball right after the medium. But there's a stand fierce to answer back against the drive rush. Level 1 for that corner sense scenario. Look at the carry on this. This isn't, look at that. That is insane. One-way trip.
Corner send is huge. Getting that momentum means that you can keep the block string pressure going. It gives Jack the opportunity to get back more of their drive gauge. You see all these parry pumps happening. Even if you don't get a perfect parry, at least you're not blocking and you're not ending up on the back foot in terms of, you know, losing drive gauge. Clipped by the fireball, now being forced to block. Too fierce is Jack, very near burnout, but Sevens doesn't have the life to try to press the issue too far.
He's trying to, though.
Sevens in burnout.
Finds the light confirming. That's unfortunate. As you mentioned, like, you didn't have the bar to keep pressing the issue. I think you tried to play around that idea, like, oh man, I spent too much. I might as well go in at this point, because if I land like a level 3, I'll get my lead up, or maybe like a level 2, whatever it may be. But Jack was wise for that occasion. Trying to hit that heavy OD fireball, the trade, but again, Sevens worse off in drive gauge.
Okay, getting the pickup, knockdown, burn knuckle in the corner, wake up, backdash. Backdash has been a consistent defensive choice here from Jack. I wonder whether Sevens is going to make any adaptations around it. Level 3 cash out. I imagine this is more for bringing the drive gauge back into Jack's advantage more than anything. Counter hit set up, and now having the corner position. Sevens does not want to block. Level 3 through the fireball. It is going to connect.
Blocking is cringe. Why would you block when you have a super? Kill the drive gauge. I like this. Get the lead up. The fact that Jack kind of going for that sequence was dangerous, but he's right back in with the stand fierce, whip punish, gets a heavy kick. Cross cut DP, can't leave for free. You're gonna pay the toll. Wake up, crouching light kick. Really, Seven.
That's been a kind of a consistent choice. Okay, and now with Jack and burnout, yeah, burn knuckle connects. The extra plus frames that you get from Jack being in burnout in that spot put Sevens in a stellar position with corner control. The fact that you lived on the side swap DP, but you kept corner control, makes that a completely worthwhile transaction for you.
100%. Fireball, now following up. Jack using that before as a zoning tool, but now covering it right behind it, you know, with a button, with a drive rush, whatever it may be. All right, can they get the extension? Nice. Using the fireball to hit confirm as well. Has him up in the corner, but Sevens again has had some pretty wily defense. Wake up, crouching light kick. ODP is going to be hard to read as supers as well. No super at the bottom right now, though. Cross get DP after the drive rush. Auto corrects because you're in the green.
Oh, look at that slight delay, waiting until the parry is over before going for the standing strong. OD fireball. Sevens is going for that a few times where it's like as the fireball's about to clip, goes for the OD fireball to secure frame advantage out of the interaction.
But you can. Jack can burn out, but it's a one-touch scenario. Sevens, long drive gauge, crack shoot, DP pickup right after. Oh, we scrapping, we fighting back. Squabble up. Fireball for a fireball. Can you get him pushed to the corner though? The stock ups make it kind of hard to jump in. Even worse than Sevens hasn't been able to anti as much. Too many things going on the ground. The jumper takes him down. That's a problem, bro. You are so focused on both things happening.
Well, and I also want to say, Sevens and Terry's kit in particular is so well designed for establishing spacing traps, but Juri's limbs have such far reach and her movement covers such wide ranges that I feel like it's just a little bit harder for Terry to capitalize on those small opportunities he makes for himself than he does against the rest of the roster. I feel like Juri can either just immediately disengage or play just as effectively in that spot. Oh, okay. I feel like you wanted a different choice there, but you are now out of burnout. No whip punishes though, and the big jump in.
Yeah, finding some of these timings not so successfully. Sevens, I mean, could have a little bit more damage. Doesn't have the anti right there. Overhead blocked out, but not the low as Jack. I was trying to walk back away from that. He said, I'm not done talking to you. Game to game, round to round, all tied up. Who's going to be up in the lead here? 2-1. Who's going to get that done? I mean, if you're Jack, try to get back to that level 2 sort of scenario, get those reverse speed combos, the openings that we've seen previously.
Yeah, that interaction that just happened was exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about, right? Like, it sets up a spacing trap where Terry wants to hit Crouching Strong, and it's a great spot for him. Crouching Strong whiffs, goes to move back. You're still in range for Juri low forward. So Jack can wait out these interactions, and then you still have to respect him. Jack, having still with this level 2, gets the jump in, 2-1 on Sevens right now, and I just can't help but feel like Juri is exposing some weaknesses in how the offense from Sevens and Terry is being set up right here. It's like, yeah, you're setting up these situations, but you run out of steam just before I do, and I'm just waiting for that moment.
There's some buttons that have been improved that I think could work in the mid-range, but I think also the way that Jack's playing is making it very difficult for those moments to happen. Not a back throw, gonna get opened up with a medium this time. Same medium again, he's getting in with the fireball to lock him down. It's moments like that, right, which are dissuading Sevens from waking up with like a button. He has to go for like an ODP, offensive drive reversal up in the corner. Not where you want to be against this character. Again, another drive rush in a DP to catch the cross up and gain more damage and advantage in health. Lead up.
All right. Pressing the issue, moving forward, having a pretty hearty drive gauge advantage, but surrendering so much real estate on the screen. Plus frames, but the drive parry out of JAK. I mean, life lead, drive gauge coming back, bar on the table. One more touch would be the round here for JAK. Yeah, how far are we going to be able to catch this one out? No. Thanks, everybody, for bearing with that break. We unfortunately missed the tail end of JAK versus Sevens, but we can report that that was a 3-1 in JAK's favor, moving on to our losers semifinals. Once again, if you are just joining us, this is Capcom Pro Tour World Warrior Midwest, the first one for the year. I am Brad Muse, and I am joining St. Cola here to bring us through the action with only a few matches left.
Yeah, only a few to go down to see who's going to take the very first World Warrior. Obviously, Port's going to get solidified, so you want to have an early and big lead and big start. But as we mentioned, there have been some blowups that have happened even before the top 8, in the top 8, and I expect maybe some more to come as JAK is on the loser side, have to fight his way out. We have a Honda and a JP like Season 1 has occurred again in the winner's side. We haven't got to that just yet. We have to go to Mia versus KOLIBRI. It's going to be Ryu and whatever Mia feels like picking on the day. I like seeing players pick a multitude of characters. We see Lashar doing that. We see the likes of Meta RD doing that. I think having a good roster of characters has its pluses and minuses. Obviously, the plus is you can fit to any matchup, whether it be player to player, character to character. But the minus is how you keep up all those characters at a high level. For Lashar, it took him a little bit to get to that point, and obviously he did at 2 tournaments. For Mia, we're seeing her work out here with Sim. She's got the Lily, she's got the Mai, of course. Hell, she might even pull out Marisa for whatever reason. She can play whatever. Back to the Sim. It's gonna be the Sim.
Yeah, and I agree with you in terms of having multiple characters. I think towards the tail end of Street Fighter V, sort of in that COVID window, we saw the game really develop to a point where you needed to be able to cover your bad matchups. And I think once that became the case for the Street Fighter community, I don't know that it changed. And Street Fighter 6, I feel, is such a system-heavy game that having backup characters to cover your bad matchups is, I think, a little bit easier maybe than it was in Street Fighter V. Mia in a firm control of this set right now against KOLIBRI, and I can't help but feel like this is an unfortunate draw for KOLIBRI. Not a dissimilar matchup than there's in the winner side. A raw zoner who's going to be setting the pace on the screen.
Yeah, that's a whip punch right there, but wasn't able to get the throw or jab right after, excuse me. Perfect parries, the donkey kick, saw that incoming. I think if you fought a lot of Ryu players at this point, you're ready to deal with that. Wasn't able to get the proper combo with the blast. KOLIBRI going to take advantage, double dash up for the throw. Look at how close Ryu is. Looking at these throw loop opportunities, but as soon as there's a gap, you're going to drive rush back though, and that's the end of that. Mia with the first round. And historically speaking, Sim has been pretty good against Ryu. Keeps him out before you get the fireball pressure going. You have the furthest drive rush in Street Fighter 6 to get in against this character. And when you try to, you see that back medium kick, that's a stop sign with the toes.
Yeah, and I think in general, I feel like Sim sort of archetypically ought to be able to beat Ryu, right? Like Ryu, while the poster child Shoto is, I think, the one who's the most fireball heavy. And so Sim being a pure zoner against a character who can be all around but focuses zoning, that like extra 5% difference really matters. We saw it exemplified in the winner side matchup in the Ryu versus JP, and now we're seeing it again here against Sim as Mia cashes out this level 3. I don't believe this is going to kill, but it ought to put just shy of burnout, but you still have corner control, and the OD fireball on wake up is going to be enough to do it. First game on the board for Mia.
Yeah, it's a unfortunate situation. I was just reading on Twitter about how people are like, offense in this game has gotten a little bit harder to deal with because you cannot get those perfect parries like you'd like to, or have the timings as much because you have to hold back or down the low. So it's even harder, I think, for people, even if it isn't a high or low. Well, excuse me, Mia, you're a goddess, so you're different than everybody else. But overall, it is harder for people to hit that defense. So we'll have to see if KOLIBRI can get a handle want to go for that perfect parry like Mia has. But right now, it's all buttons right now, all punches. And stand fierce to finish the job. KOLIBRI says, I don't need defense, I got offense.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like your matchup against Sim is very much determined by when you do get in, how much damage are you able to do before you get out? And with a vast amount of damage that Ryu can kick out whenever he feels like it, you best know that he's going to make the best of every little opportunity he gets. Look at that. Wake up, jab, pick up, push back to mid-screen, gets the party started. Now KOLIBRI fully in the driver's seat, clipped in that little frame kill situation, though.
Try rush, gets interrupted with a crouching medium punch. Ash will get the ender. Mia catches the walk back to get aggressive, and as she does so, she kills the drop gauge of KOLIBRI and builds a bar up. ODDP, drive rush, crouching light kick. KOLIBRI, as you mentioned, has to get right in and stay on me as much as possible. Damn! They confirm. That's what you like to see. Crouching meter kick, Hashogeki, and getting the kill with the super right after, the Shin Shoryuken. That's like a typical thing for Ryu players these days. Crouching meter kick, Hashogeki, the second hits, you go right to the super.
I mean, why not, right? There's across the history of Street Fighter, hit confirms like that have been important in one form or another across like so many titles. And while I think a lot of this game, people focus so much on the drive system, but I think eventually you end up at a spot where players are so effective defensively and resources end up so slim without somebody being dead that you need the ability to maximize on all of those super minor situations. Wow, that ODDP catches the very edge of that wide jump out of Mia, but a nice pickup from KOLIBRI, just being relentless with their buttons. And, you know, once you get to that range, Sim is a slow character. Once you're playing footsies with him, he's gonna struggle.
Yeah, like that with the sweep off the feet. Like the risk for that, the reward for Ryu is much higher in his favor. Medium, Hashogeki uses the heavy one to switch it up. Mia strikes back with a counter hit. Blast, side switch. OD reversal, KOLIBRI believing in them, and they're working out. Back throw on the overhead though. Tries to go for the DI. Too far out to let that fly in. Mia is going to go for the drive impact with the super ender. This is burnout. You cannot dash up. KOLIBRI doing whatever it takes to try to get some damage, but when you're at that distance, you can't really press a button. Crouching medium punches there to meet you. Mia had a lot of bar to play with for the super to get the kill continuously. You know, this is a difficult proposition when Sim has the lead.
No, you're absolutely right. You can see KOLIBRI's trying to cycle in some slightly different tool choices for mid-range pokes. Wow, I love that Mia is willing to commit to just cashing out confirms into level 1 super, get the damage, reset back to neutral, and just sort of sit there and be like, you know what, this is not a matchup where I'm going to get this massive cash out on my resources. I'm going to win by a war of attrition, so let's use what I got. Knockdown in the corner off of another level 1. That's like the 4th or 5th one across just this game. But clipped by the delay crouching strong, KOLIBRI has the cash out into CA. Mia's, I think, still going to have the life advantage, certainly not going to be in burnout, and KOLIBRI's still on the back foot resource-wise. What are they going to do with this corner control?
Dash up jabs, walk up throw. No way she brings this back. Off the low!
Wow.
Hitting those toes like she's into those. KOLIBRI! Yo, bringing it back where it was looking difficult because she was in burnout. She was, you know, could have got hit with the drive impact. And now we see a switch up the style that she is playing at. These sweeps, these reversals, the timings when she gets close, the variance off the Hashogeki, even if it's not hitting all the time, is too much to deal with for the Sim. And it took me just a second to be like, let me take a breather. We'll get back in with the Sim. So we'll see if she even needs to switch, if it will even happen. KOLIBRI is the one on game point, though.
All right. Strong start there for Mia. Wow, low forward connects in that spot. That's I think if you buffered into heavy donkey, that might have actually like fully comboed into something. But certainly an interesting interaction, stuck by the corner now, trying to make the best of their frame advantage. Mia having to be a little bit more of the aggressor than we saw in the previous game. I think choosing a war of attrition, maybe not working out all that great, given how effective KOLIBRI has been at forcing footsie range.
Driver's crushing. New kick, tick throw right after it. KOLIBRI looking for another comeback for the books. The impact against the stand medium. Same jump setup. No, trying to go for empty nothing, but the jab was there to meet her. Mia perfectly done with the press.
Yeah, what a great defensive choice from Mia, and like the bravery to be active in that spot. I felt myself being like, this is going to be empty jump low, and I definitely froze and would not have had the presence of mind to hit a button. KOLIBRI still in the driver's seat right now. Okay, a whiff punish on the dive kick.
Yeah, slight walk back with the jabs, trade, conversion, get that spin out, counter it, perfect parry. Probably seeing something different here from Mia. I mean, she's been using jabs in the wake ups, and now perfect parry, reposition herself for success, double blast, gum no yoga incoming. Oh yeah, she's hit the first gear, second gear, and now in third gear to put herself up 2-2. Gotta hit that fifth though. Skip the fourth, go to the fifth, all right?
Cola, I didn't know that you changed your meme for Dhalsim Super. I was ready for Mr.
Switch.
Fantastic Arms Made of Plastic.
Ah, yeah. That was always
I'm
saved
on the
for
old
majors. You're on the old one. That's okay. We updated. I've been into One Piece even more so because that is peak. Absolute peak.
Ooh.
So is this match right now. Sweep against the heavy. Ready with the steady with the KOLIBRI. Gets the punish and is nice and close, making the most of these close range scenarios, right?
So I think what's interesting here is KOLIBRI's button heavy style still getting a lot of pokes, but I think Mia is favoring a range where Mia's actually playing footsies rather than zoning in the way that they're respecting KOLIBRI's resources, and it's meaning that there's a lot of situations where KOLIBRI's actually too far to get anything out of these counter pokes that they're finding. Goes for the Denjin level 1, nothing really comes of it. DI a little bit too far away, knockdown there for Mia, and we get the stun. Do we have enough damage for this? I think with the drive gauge that we have, you absolutely should, especially with a level 1 in the back. How far are we going to be able to push this? Yes, not even needing to spend the level 1, and Mia is on set point.
Right. Keep her out. Keep her out. Nice interruption with the crouching beauty punch against the drive rush. As you mentioned at the start of the show, how to stop these drive rushes, the aggressive style that's presented. You have to be prepared at high level. And Mia, more often than not, has been getting a lot of reward off that crouching medium punch and stand medium. And getting the lead of Sim is very important. We're going to be able to keep them out. Look at that. Oh, as I say that, I was like, Mia could have kept them out, blocked it out, but the button right after was great for KOLIBRI. Knockdown, meaty fireball, perfect parry, backs away from the sweep. The stand fierce is there. Connection time.
Right? Empty actually goes for the jump in that time, as opposed to going for an empty low. The level 3 connects. I'm sorry, the CA connects for Mia. I do believe this ought to do it.
Fifth gear for the finish. Mia's gonna take it with just a pixel of damage to do it. 3-2. The Sim comes through in the end. Who do you know out there be playing Sim, Lily, and Mai at high level? Just Mia. That's a prodigy right there. She moves on the bracket. KOLIBRI, good placement overall. That was the Kobe on killer, but she'll be going out strong. That's quite a bit of points for her to start off the World Warrior, but it's gonna be Mia taking the W. Congrats. Wow.
That's you lay out the characters that Mia plays. I feel like that's an interesting selection. I'd love to pick their brain about like where did it start and how did you choose to fill that in? Particularly Lily. I feel like she spent so much of this game's lifespan so far being in a super niche spot. So to have her to round out a series of characters is really interesting.
True. And to round out this bracket, we're getting closer and closer towards that finale. We're going to be going on to Stealth versus HAMAD in winners finals. So see who's going to be in Grand's winner side. After that, it's going to be JAK versus Mia. Of course, the winner of that is going to be moving on to losers finals. So y'all want to stay tuned and stay up on what's going down in the Mid-Best World Warrior. The very first one, see who gets those points up. And listen, if you're in the Mid-Best, you're in the region, play these applicable regions, FGC meetups, Indiana FGC, things like that. Of course, support your locals. Of course, support Low Kick. Hit them up on all the socials and things like that. But go to that 3v3, enter there to play at Roundhouse and fight it out for the Mid-Best. That's what's going on the 26th, right here, 28th, Renaissance in Glenview, close to Chicago. Hit it up, start.gg/RH25. It's the 5th annual. Hope we get to see more. And again, the Mid-Best will be happening out there, the 3v3. It's always super hype. You can see all the locals that are out there. If you're in the area, join up, show out, and come out to the finale.
Is it really 5 years of Roundhouse already?
Damn, as I say that, that's kind of crazy, right? Like,
That's
5
insane.
years is insane. Wow. Ohio's winning this year? You really think so, Zed? All right, we'll see. Pull up. We'll see. All right, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Okay. Not gonna say nothing else. You know where I stand. I love the Mid-Best, but you know where I stand though. I stand on business for my city. So don't, you ain't got a question. You ain't got a question.
Yeah, I have no skin in that game, but I would love to watch it or attend.
You're honorary
5 years of
Chicago.
Roundhouse is insane. I'm honorary Chicago. You know I'm
Yeah.
going to take that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. You know what? Here's the thing.
That's-
Here's the thing, Brad. You don't have to eat deep dish. If you don't like deep dish, that's okay. We've got tavern style. We've got a lot of variety out here. You can eat whatever you want, you know?
You know what? That does help. That really does help. Because deep dish is not my bag.
That's okay. We
I'll
allow
do
all
Detroit
pizza
style
out here. So that's fine. You can have it out here too. It'll be good.
There we go.
See?
Well, hey, that almost makes a transplant out of me.
No Malort though. No Malort. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. No Malort.
No, oh, no, I don't want Malort.
No.
I was about to say, I'm like, yeah, if I'm really vetting it, it's like, cool, time for the old man question. How's the school district? And like, oh, we don't got to go that
You're
deep.
like, where can I put my kids through all the way up to college?
What's
You know,
the property tax?
Where's a good chiropractor? Down the street from me? I hope so. First of all, okay.
Man.
Also, B3 up in the chat. How dare you walk the streets of Chicago and not show off for your people? You are a traitor, bro. You are a traitor. Get your ass to Gary, bro. Go to Gary, Indiana. How about that? I sentence you to Gary, Indiana.
Is that a real place?
Yes.
I'm sorry
Pretty
if
sure.
you live there. You've been to Gary, Indiana?
Banish him. Banish him. Long Island iced teas by the pitcher, says Doc.
That feels illegal.
Ugh,
But I bet it's not in Gary, Indiana.
Freddie Gibbs is from Gary, Indiana also. Oh my God, word? I was gonna say his other name, but I can't say it on this stream. Shouts out to Freddie Gibbs. You talking about the Midwest tournament at Roundhouse last year? Okay, but here's the thing. You were saying an LCQ. Oh, okay. You said the LCQ team lost to Chicago. They mentioned Chicago too. Okay, so you still sticking up for Chicago. Remove him.
Oh.
He may leave the gulag. I thought he was making fun of Chicago. I was getting mad.
All right,
I was
JB,
like,
we'll
bro.
buy you a ticket out of Gary.
Yeah, out of Gary. You may leave. Even the transplant said it's okay. All right, let's go to this match here. Winners finals. Who could have thought? Honda versus JP. Hamad versus Stealth. Let's get it.
Oh my goodness, the amount of button pressure coming out of Hamad really testing, hey, are you going to counter poke, or do I really just get to kind of bully you once I'm in this mid-range? So far, the answer is, yeah, you can be a bully. I'm all right.
Well, it has to be a bully. I feel like when I watch him play the matchup, he just stays nice and close. Headbutt as a counter poke. Something you mentioned before that he does. He does very effectively in this matchup, especially. Perfect parry. Expect the turn with the 4-frame. I like that. Something light with it. Don't overextend too much. Stealth understands.
So one difficulty I feel like Hamad is having right now is it feels like the ranges where he wants to poke and like set up lows, if they're not cancelable lows, it's a hard range for him to then try to take advantage of the frame advantage he has. Like he still has to walk forward a fair degree in order to really start to establish his offense. And that's still daunting against JP. Still managing to get the better of that round, however, finding the anti-air right into the knockdown, and hey, you're back to full screen. I hope you liked it there.
Like these jabs and a stand fierce and the walk back. Stealth, we've seen that before, kind of walks back and exposing some of these bigger buttons. Cross up, stand light punch of all things. The range on that's pretty good. You know, the hitbox on that's really significant considering it's a lower and slower button. OD, heavily hand stock up. OD departure really lock him down. Fireball departure again. Stealth has the lead drive gauge. Keep it up. Well, those OD fireballs.
Being in burnout here is not ideal, but finding that throw, having this corner position, this is big. You just need one more touch. Unfortunately, didn't have the charge to be able to go for an anti-air in that spot. Now you have to weather the storm of this level 2. You are back into the corner, but now you're out of burnout, so stun no longer a concern. What does Stealth choose to do? Goes for a shimmy that is going to be able to connect, and that's a round on the board for Stealth. So smart.
I like that. Nice little fadeaway in play. Close to level 2. When are we gonna get there? Stand fierce to deal with like the jump mediums and some of the jumpers that Stealth's trying to present right here. OD tempo step, hella plus, can't interact. Stealth forced to back off. And as soon as he goes for that stand fierce after the walk back, the headbutt was there to meet him like that from Hamad, but he wasn't watching his 6 again. You gotta watch your back door, my boy.
Oh, overhead connects, ready for the follow-up after the portal, and now Stealth gets to be the aggressor. One more touch will be level 3. Nice punish counter anti-air from Hamad. Goes into the level 3. This doesn't force corner. I think it's only Marissa's does, right? This is still going to be mid-screen.
At the same time, it's like a one-touch scenario. You have OD, headbutt, so you can't throw out a bad fireball. Jumping is probably a bad idea too as well, so Stealth gonna stay grounded with the drive rush. Not a lot of drive gauge to play with. You're gonna have to maybe go for a low cross up here. Drive reversal at the perfect time, but the jump back fade away clips the headbutt. Departure is there to just lock him away for a little bit. But you know it's one OD headbutt. One, Brad, one.
Clips. The very slight delay out of the drive rush is enough to do it. That was so close to slipping out of Hamad's hands.
That could have been bad, but real good here for Hamad. He interrupts the drive rush for the medium. Not the proper combo, but that's okay. Fakes out the crouch fierce. Not finding a follow-up, but I like the ideas from Hamad. Could get more damage, but will be land the heavily hand stock up. No big deal, we'll back off. Next interaction is gonna hurt even more so. These are two, they buffed up the things that he gets off the heavenly hands, follow-ups off the medium hands, heavy hands, things like that. Combos get nastier.
Weird air-to-air interactions not quite working out here, and now we're really trying to get a feel in mid-range. It feels like they're going for the sort of counter poke options, but still really feeling each other out on when to use them. They're both evolving their neutral game at the same time, finding the counter poke there in the sort of shimmy situation. I feel like Stealth's counter jabs are very, very solid.
They have to be, I feel. You have to have that very strong defense. Can't just be amnesia like it used to be. Drive rush, light kick again from Hamad. That's been a typical tool for him a lot. And into level, or excuse me, almost level 3, level 2. Back that ass up. There we go. Hamad up a game in a round in a matchup that some people might say is kind of difficult for Hana. The way he plays is making it not so much. Off the low, the drive rush.
Yeah, I think part of the difference here is Hamad is choosing to make sure that they really live in that pocket. I was talking about that footsie range, counter poke range, and Hamad's like, I'm just never gonna leave that pocket once I'm in it. There's no passivity. Perfect parry comes out from Stealth, has the portals in the back to be able to finish out this combo. Wake up level 1, and Hamad with a healthy life lead.
This man is driving right now, using a lot of gas. There's the jab, hits the headbutt, takes the trade. 2 games from Hamad. This dude, I mean, he's been a classic Street Fighter 4 player, classic Street Fighter player for a long, long time, right? That feels wild to say considering 09 is old head. But Hamad has been playing fighting games for a long time. He's got the footsies, the good understanding to kind of break you down. Stealth, on the other hand, is looking for more of like these departures and mix-ups and things like that. And Hamad's not getting opened up. Level 2s have not been effective against him, but this will at least be up in the corner.
Right. Okay, finding the anti-air. The anti-air game out of Hamad has been very solid all evening. And also, still super great at checking those drive rushes. Finds the command grab, one more touch will do it here for Hamad and bring it back to set point. And we find it on, that was interesting. That felt like a feint into OD portals. I feel like there's so much respect expected there by Stealth, but Hamad is playing so aggro right now. You're not going to get an inch that you don't earn, cashing out into the level 2.
He's talking mad mess in the game. His footsies are talking mad mess. Stealth will drive impact for a heavy kick. The departure after this, with the OD this time, spin a lot of bar, get the opening off the low fireball. Stand fierce, OD departure again. OD bust out from Hamad, puts him in burnout. Not out of options, no gaps. Hamad will hit the level 3. Do not let him do so. He will hit confirm off a medium. Tempo set might actually interact. We'll see. Jump fierce. Exit throw. Hamad back with bar.
This is everything off of the momentum from this drive rush. Early low short, that was buffered into something. Waiting out the issue. And like, Stealth can't even afford, there's certain spots where they still need to be mindful of how antsy Hamad is feeling. Air-to-air connects. Hamad still with the life lead. Hamad could just afford to block here. 40 seconds left on the clock. Stealth is the one who needs to make something happen. DI! Counter DI is still gonna get smoked. Your muscle memory ended you, my friend.
All because he hit the DI right back. You become a pro, you DI right back every single time, but Hamad played around that perfectly. This dude, Hamad, you can tell he an old head because he just absorbed all the knowledge of how that player wanted to play and how Stealth, in a way, kind of plays by the book, and that's a good thing, but also a bad thing in that scenario. No how to give, no way to bust out, the DI, killing him for that decision, and sends him down to losers. Hamad on the Honda, winner's side, and he don't even have the Sagat yet. He don't even have the Sagat yet. This guy got it with the Honda. Winner's side with the, of all things, bro, who could have known a Honda would be a winner's side World Warrior of a stacked ass event? but it's gonna be Hamad moving on. So that means, of course, Seth will get his chance to dance again if he's able to survive losers finals. We'll be down the line a little bit later on. We'll take a look at the bracket here soon. But either way, shouts out to Hamad. I know he popping off crazy. Like, I can't see his stream, but I can hear him.
Yeah. I mean, just what a performance in that. And going for DI in that spot is such a high IQ check, right? Because I feel like I talk a lot about like the 1% versus the 0.1%. And like at 1%, everyone is DIing in that situation 100% of the time. The difference between the 1% and the 0.1% is you start to prioritize parry over counter DI. And it's for situations exactly like that. Because you don't want that to be your muscle memory. And to force that interaction in that spot was just so brilliant.
Very, very good stuff. I think with also the fact that we haven't seen like a lot of parry from people just in general, I keep harping on that because it's important, that you're more free to do things like that and not worry about like counter parry, like perfect parry, even more so because Hamad would do drive rush, crouching light kick, crouching medium kick, stand light kick, like switching up these tools and go for a medium. So you're worried about the high low in that scenario where there's so much mental side in your tournament life, or at least in winter side, it's on the line. You're like, damn, bro, how do I stay clean from this? I'll just go for the DI right back. That's the safest and easiest option than getting the timing for the perfect parry, or even imperfect parry. Maybe that's just even too much of a risk. As the meta evolves, I expect people to get better at parrying and get back to business with that. But for right now, well, you played it perfectly, Hamad. All right, we got loser side coming up soon. I think the ads are running right now. If I'm not mistaken, or maybe not, we'll be moving on to our next match in loser side, start sending more people home. But it's been a fantastic time so far, seeing a lot of blow-ups and seeing some people rise to the occasions. It's only the first one. I feel like for the players that have been knocked out early, they're gonna be like, cool, I'll just get better. I'll train harder. And it's good to see players get put in their place early now, rather than like where you really need it in the third or fourth day where you're like hinging on these points. You have to play perfect on the fifth one that we have for the World Warrior to get to like the finals.
Yeah, so where we're at right now, JAK and Mia is going to be our next match on losers semifinals, and obviously Stealth waiting in the losers finals. So one of them. I mean, if you're Stealth, you don't even necessarily know what character you need to prepare for.
That's true. You have no idea what's to come. And so you can say the same for like for JAK here. He's gonna have to fight the Mai right now, and I'm sure he's had a lot of practice. I saw him, playing with some of the other players out there. You were at CEO, but Mia just presents just a different sort of neutral. I feel like a lot of these other players are using like Ryu bend to kind of space things out. She's very heavy on the crouching lights, crouching mediums.
JAK is so active defensively though. Like, look at that. Oh, I think you're gonna throw. I'm not teching. I'm going for the jump anti-throw option. Oh, I think you're gonna go for this. No, I'm hitting a delayed counter poke and backdashing. Right? Every single defensive choice has an offensive choice loaded up immediately behind it. Blocks the overhead. And now just like that, Mia, a little bit out of steam, has to back off, find the opportunity to try to throw out another fan if we want to make something happen, or just raw compete in neutral, but you're stuck in the corner now.
Stand fierce. Stagger to stand mediums because Mia has been known to a perfect parry. You saw right there. Or just DP. OD fans, you mentioned have to have the bar to do so. The anti is going to be there, of course. Easy back throw. You're the one in the corner now. You're the one in jail, no bail. Punishes the heavy, a little bit more recovery this season. Bigger hurt box, easier to deal with. The JAK was definitely looking for that button.
Yeah, oh my god, and so ready for it. And that's another one of those, 1% first point, 1% things. Sometimes you know that your job is to wait and not to try to catch the other person out because you trust your reactions in your ground game that much. JAK, I mean, we'll even accept that trade, right? We maintain corner control, level 3 in the back. This is just shy of a perfect for game 1. And I feel like that went from Mia at like a 60-40, and then that second round was just all JAK all the time.
Yeah. In terms of like engagement, some people are like, well, why would I play Juri over Mai? I could drive rush in with the medium punch. I don't have to use like OD fan. When it comes to like drive rush buttons, Juri's are better, I feel. Her fireball presents a different sort of puzzle to solve. So there's definitely variances on why you play certain characters. Slight shimmy right there, meaty fireball. We're gonna parry and get it back though. Well done for Mia to turn blue. Get that aggression going.
Right. Going for these little shimmies. So many people this evening are getting clipped in the walk back in their shimmy spacing trap and just getting caught out by a raw counter poke. JAK finding the counter poke, earning the momentum off of that, and closing out another round, a game of roundup on Mia here.
Getting good crossed up and perfect parry. Mia definitely not shy about running that. Knockdown off the Fuhajin. And now we're getting ready against that Stand Fierce. That's been a big poke tool in the neutral here for JAK. And level 1 off of that. Reward should be incoming here from Mia. How she spins these bars. But JAK is like, keep it close so no fans are landing, or even the thought of zoning is not landing at all. You bust out, no, a fake out with the parry. Might be more throws in the future here from JAK. Shimmy time.
All right, keeping that control still. Wow, I feel like Mia's DP gets a little bit underestimated, but level 3 through the fireball, yeah, I understand. You want to cash out on those stocks.
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. Bigger hitbox on that too, so even easier to punish. And yeah, JAK just putting too much pressure on. Like some of the normals that she presents also like are pretty good. Like even outside of Drive Rush comparatively to Mai's. Mai's are good within like counter poking range. But in terms of like engagement, I think some of the Juri's buttons are really good overall. And we see like Stand Fierce being used to full effect. Yeah, I got whip punished once or twice. But overall, the reward has been significant. Now, do we see a change off the Mai?
We do.
It's back to the sim. It's a ride or die with Mr. Fantastic himself. It's ride or die with Mr. 4.
I mean, how sure do we feel that Mia's going to be able to make this happen on a 3-0 from Sim? One of the things, Sim is the kind of character where I feel like, especially in a 1st to 3 format, I think Sim gets a lot more mileage because having 2 games to adapt to the ground game of your opponent is massive. But now you're coming in with Sim cold, down 2 games from another character, and you have to just figure out what you should be doing on the ground. And right now, Mia does not have the solutions. Wants for the throw, for the side swap, we're not going to get it. Raw drive rush into the Crouching Fierce, trying to wait it out, but very little life left, and JAK on set point. The character almost doesn't matter if you're playing against the training dummy.
And honestly, JAK, having a character that can like DP a lot of distances, it makes it harder to float, take that aerial space like you'd like to, hit the Comet, jump fierce. The dive kick as well, clipping the buttons, makes the economy of buttons even harder to read. And now the clean jump in, the Fuhajin stock up, back heavy kick stocks up right after it. That's 2, that's fireballs in the menu. That's a punish. That wasn't even a punch. I didn't see punish counter.
That was crazy.
What? I mean, it was insane. That crouching medium punch, got a lot of range on it. It's good.
Yo, the hitbox on that is nuts. That roundhouse like scratched her head. Jump in, no anti-air, pressing the issue. Mia finally with a little bit of momentum. You would love to make this happen without having to spend your super gauge right now.
Yeah, it'd be very difficult to do so. JAK, however, all he needs is a jump in, a dive Kickstarter on a punish counter.
Oh.
The Stand Fierce though from Mia, timing the buttons properly, but again, had she misplaced or mistimed those buttons, she would have got cooked. Flying around the board.
Finding the anti-air, back throw to keep the corner control here from Mia, but having to back off immediately. Juri's really strong dash and drive rush dash make it super hard for you to feel like you can effectively control range, and the wake up level 3 gets smoked out. Overhead connects. JAK
interaction
driving.
Right to arrive at his destination towards losers finals. Dive kick, anti-air is there, held parry. Back medium kick again and again. Push out for the Flames to at least kill some of that drive gauge, but JAK is content to back off, knowing that he just needs one more interaction with that level 3 behind him. It's going to be off the overhead to start things off, and to finish it, it's stiff my foot. See ya out of this tournament as JAK moves on to losers finals to fight Stealth.
I hate that you called it that.
He's the leader of the Foot Clan. Juri players have put themselves in that position. That's what you do when you play that character. That's what it is, all right?
I didn't say you were wrong. I just hate that you said it. You're 100% right.
My foot, not shake. Sniff. Because you Juri players
JB,
are freaks.
It's worse than what you thought.
Freaks.
Worse than what you thought. JAK moves on to play against Stealth in the losers final. So presumably going to be Juri versus JP, as you see the bracket before you right there. HAMAD still waiting up in the winner's side of Grand's 3-0 Honda JP winners finals. If you're just joining us, it's been quite an evening here at Midwest World Warrior Iteration 1.
Oh yeah. Shouts out to Mia, by the way. An insane run through losers, taking out a ton of demons down there. And honestly, rotating characters that are really hard to trietary, to secondary, to main takes a lot of work. So again, she's a crazy player that when she comes out, she shows out, right? Like I feel like it's one of those players that I really would love to see more in some offline brackets. At Frosty did work. Would love to see her travel the country if she wants to. You know, it's all up to her. You know, sometimes she's off and on, but hey, if she wants to travel, go out to Roundhouse, which she'll probably be at. I want to speak for her, but I hope she goes out September 26th to the 28th. The Renaissance Glenview pull up. They've got a bar and a restaurant inside while you watch and eat and see the salt that comes from the home of the Midbest Team 3v3 tournament. You see all those applicable places. Well, if you're in the locals, sign up and show out and support your locals. Support Low Kick, even if it's not your local. You got a lot of good things coming through. You got the World Warriors, as you see, and more in the future.
Yeah, and to yes and some of that, right? We all love fighting games. We know if you're watching this, you love fighting games. But sometimes when you go to an event, you want there to be more than just fighting games. You want to be able to have an experience out of your weekend. Perhaps karaoke, which I do see is going to be offered on the Saturday evening there at Roundhouse Cola.
Oh, right.
If you had one karaoke song, what's your karaoke song?
Oh man, what's my karaoke? There's too much. There's too much. Okay.
Chad, I want to hear your karaoke song too while we wait for him.
I don't know, man. There's too much, man. I'm gonna let you go first. What's your karaoke song?
It's Dance Dance by Fall Out Boy, which does incidentally give me a little bit more Chicago cred.
Hey, I would rock with that. I'd rock with that. Rap Snitch Knishes is one of mine. But if I want people to get in with me, this is how we do it from Montel Jordan, bro. Like, this is how we do it. Listen, it's a beautiful Saturday, not Friday. It's Losers Finals, people. Jack versus Stealth. Let's get it. I'm an old blackhead. I'm sorry. Apologies, but no apology on that.
Hey, you know what? The first song I didn't know. That second song, though, I was right there with you to be on the karaoke stage. Jack and Stealth, Losers Finals. A nice jump in there for Jack to get this one started.
Yeah, getting this stand medium, crouch medium punch, stocks up at the very end with the Fuhajin. That's what you want to do, be able to make that media scenario even worse for JP to deal with because he cannot amnesia. Even the idea makes it really hard and pensive to put out any sort of defensive tactic. Perfect parry when knockdown's coming is this back throw from Stealth.
Oh my god, that portal covered perfectly. Stealth is, so far from what I've seen, one of the better JPs at placing these portals. The timings have been giving people a lot of trouble.
Nice. Stand fierce for the finish. You know, Stealth doing a good job of surviving up in the corner. It's not really a good place to be, but I'll tell you one thing. Like, he did a really good job of understanding what to do and finding these back throws. Normal throw for the OD. Departure, once again, a staple of every JP's toolkit, as well as Stealth. For the throw, but no punish. He died.
Okay. Very clip of the low. Finding the... Oh, no! Wanted for the... Like, not going for the anti-air. Perfect parry. But your hitbox is so tall that your throw animation actually whiffs and you get smoked for it. Jack gets the better of all of these interactions. Level 3 now available. Still having control in the corner.
Stand fierce, trying to find the shimmy. OD Fireball to push him back out. And for the departure, it's set up right after. Jack just... holds tight, finds a drive rush. That's one of the problems of this matchup. Long-reaching buttons, a fast-ass drive rush that covers so much distance, and if they find that perfect parry, they're in.
All right, finds the throw. Keeping the corner control. No, actually corners themselves. Stealth with the presence of mind to go for the dash forward, claim some space. Jump in. No, we have the anti-air. Jack is so ready with it.
Stand fierce, gets the punish counter, see that drive rush right up. You're going to enjoy this. Burnout incoming, of course. Departure. We're going to go for damage, I'd imagine. The setup for the departure. Maybe OD, because Stealth loves to use that. Yes, sir. Scenarios like this for the overhead. Pick up with the fireball. No air-to-air jump medium. Impact.
Ooh. With the level 1, I think we have enough damage here. Yeah, we absolutely do. Didn't even need the level 1 in the back. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You didn't have to save bar. You're up a game now. But... there was damage available. There was a really great series of choices there out of Stealth. And I feel like Jack was playing it really well. It's just that corner situation really devolved. Wow, rubber banding across the screen.
In there. Amnesia, though. Not afraid of the fireball. Jump. It gets the follow-up to stay medium. So slash enter the stay medium, the trade. Stealth. Catching the walk back with the jab. Even if Jack walks it out, I like that he's aware that Jack wants to walk back and at least take a little bit of that drive gauge or possibly get some damage, maybe a counter hit. It's active.
Okay. Step kick working out there for Jack, working our way into throw range, keep the pressure going. Drive rush low, connects with the level 1 in the back. It ought to be enough. Yes, going for the Target combo into level 1, and it is indeed enough. First game up here, or first round up, I'm sorry, in the second game now for Jak.
Going back from the brink. I like this. Let's see a real match. A real 3-2. Flash Fierce, Crystal Slash. We go for the Pierce right after. Departure. Long range departure. He doesn't really do like the medium one or the close range one. Doesn't matter because if Jak gets in, he's going to get in, right? Like there's no way to stop him if he's going to get in.
I feel like that's a strength of Juri in this matchup, right? Like, JP needs to start respecting once your drive rush is in range to clip him. Juri's drive rush goes so far that you have to start respecting Juri extraordinarily soon compared to the rest of the roster, okay? And we have the damage for it, Jak. 1-1 now.
Getting out and being better about like locking down the quarter scenario and not letting Stealth get his stuff off. You don't let the level 2s get off, you're saying A-okay. And again, I like that Jak's going for these perfect parries and being able to drive rush and catch up button. Even right there with the medium. Drive rush throw. Drive rush again, the fake out. Looking for the amnesia. Stealth just blocking.
Okay. It's the way that Jak is incorporating dashes in his game, back dashes and forward dashes, is really exposing the weakness that JP has of where he needs to start respecting you. Having corner control right now does stealth. Oh, wow. Okay, the delay low ends up working, and now we get a safe jump into the throw. Pressing the issue. We get a level... Okay, drive reversal.
Yeah, before that level 2 can come through, so I'll burn out on my own terms. But not going to go out on his own terms right there. The Pierce catching the jump. Yeah, at that point, what can you do at that distance? You're going to get cooked up and clapped. And Stealth up around. Ooh, no empty throw. I thought that's what's going to come through. No grip of the grippers.
Waiting it out. Oh, trip guard connects. Stealth with corner control now. Waits it out. We find the anti-air. Gets the extra frame kill with the empty departure. And now that's throw number 2. Please let me see 3. I wish more people would do 3.
Yeah, I feel like 3 is a good one. I know people like to press after like the 3rd one, but sometimes I feel like pro players are like, yeah, I'll take about 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? I'll become a Twitter clip on Twitter, and that's okay. But I agree with you. Just do it one more time. Then layer it on a little bit less afterwards if you get back, get the back up at the corner. Backdash away from the forward medium punch. OD gonna get clipped by the dive kick. Smart stuff from Jak. Forward advancement.
Oh no. My DR comes out first, so Jak gets all this initiative, finds the throw, life now in their favor, and the overhead off of the drive rush. Is the level 1 gonna be enough? I think it's just shy.
Yeah, you were right. Only a little bit. The magic pixel.
Oh!
Did Jak get the kill though? Bro, if you are something like the fun activation point at some point. No throw from Jak though. What do you fireball? The jump in. Where's the anti-air? It's a stand fierce. It's that foot to face in the corner space. Final round. Oh my lord.
That's crazy to me. Stealth fumbled that there. Like, the whole time that Jak was in burnout, you had bar. All you needed to do was find a single bit of block stun and get the super. Cashing out into the level 2 now. I'm imagined principally for drive gauge damage.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely going for the DI route as well.
It's over the corner for more, possibly. Stand fierce. Air to air with the jump medium. As you mentioned, active on defense. Having a follow-up, always having some damage right after. The fireball, the drive rush, he gets a double follow-up right there and goes right into the super to give himself 2 games. That was so smart from Jak to use that fireball as an advancement tool and a follow-up tool for the combo, making sure that he got the kill.
Stealth is making mistakes, expecting Jak to be a hair more patient to be able to get some of these pillars out. And I feel like it's been so consistently that pillar is what is getting Jak in against Stealth. Gets a jump in that time, and we're back to mid-range, wants to back off, finds the drive rush there, does Stealth, and we're trying to press the issue. Whips overhead in neutral, finding a spacing trap there, does Stealth, and we're set back to full screen.
That backwalk, stand fierce, staple of Stealth's gameplay. Cut back, stand fierce, take that trade, jump in. Not a clean jump in though. Jak looking for the punish count on that. Crouching medium kick, nothing at all. Perfect parry. Punishing coming. No departure.
That was empty jump throw, and then going for another jump. There's a lot of expectation that Jak is going to wait just a hair. Goes for the parry that time, gets clipped out. The delay fierce gets caught by the up back from Jak. Another active defensive choice.
Set out raw. Parry, drive rush up, but knows he would have got countered with the stand fear, so send a button.
I don't know if I wish that Stealth had tried to route away into a super to be able to close this round out, because you're still 100% in range to die if Jack is able to touch you.
No way punish. Maybe too far out though. Activation, level 2 situation. Rev up them engines. Can he get in though?
Neutral jump
trying
strong?
to keep him out.
Oh,
I thought so. Jump medium. Yeah. He's trying to go for it now. 9 seconds.
Oh no. Dash forward. You're stuck in the corner. The delay strong. Do we have the damage for it? 3 seconds left. 2, 1. Backdashing. You aren't able to make it happen. Jack secures the round on timeout.
When do you ever see a Juri player lame it out like that? Set point for Jack. The all-arounder, drive rush jab to open him up, stocking up. That's what your intention is, not the damage. You want the stocks up to make this quarter pressure even worse to deal with for Stealth. Toss him. Toss him again.
Just going for the strike, throw pressure in the corner, keeping it locked down. OD portals out now for Stealth. Wants to earn some space to make it happen, but walks into the fireball. Jack has level 2, just shy of level 3 in the back. How far are we going to be able to cash this one out? No, one more touch will do it. No, actually too far away to get that confirm after.
Flip out, one more touch. As you mentioned, jumping in and out, going on the fireball, burnout could chip him out. That's what's about to happen. Jack with the 3-1, beautifully done, not only with the timeout previously, but ensuring he got the victory with that chip out scenario, taking away all the drive gauge, and again, making it work up in the corner where this character could definitely do so. Meaty fireball makes it hard to amnesia. Staying fierce and big buttons like staying fierce, medium, heavy kick, things like that kill the drive gauge. And then getting in, not a big problem if you could perfect parry a drive rush with those bigger buttons that we just mentioned right there. Jack had everything for success. I feel like Stealth wasn't able to like find that timing, as you mentioned, to counter poke. Like trying to like walk back in for a stand fierce, be a counter hit, or Jack would just wait for that to whiff and whip punish right after. More often than not, it felt like Jack was taking the advantage from those moments.
Yeah, Jack just felt one step ahead in terms of those neutral interactions. And you know, it was crazy to watch, because I feel like we had seen Stealth be so dominant and so active in how they were able to dictate the pace on the screen and sort of make the game behave in the way that they wanted to. But it felt like every time they had a tenuous grasp on what was going on, Jack made the decision that would dismantle it. And it just never really stayed in Stealth's favor for all that long.
This leads to our grand finals, people. Before you do that, hit them socials or everything low kick, as you see up on the screen. The YouTube, the Twitter, the Twitch, which you're watching on right now. LowKickEsports.com for the website. Find out more things about things like Roundhouse, September 26th to the 28th. Renaissance Glenview in Illinois. That's coming on the 26th and 28th of September. Again, start.gg/RH25. And there you'll also find the 3v3 that's happening at the home of the Midbest. All these locals that are supporting. If you're in the area, join up. Become one of the strongest teams in the business. We'll see you as the season begins on the 15th, which has already begun. Seeing you real soon. I guess next week, if you're at Ignite Low Kick, it'll be next week. For other places, well, check out their websites.
Yeah, so earlier you were talking about some of the changes that happen as we wait to load into our grand finals here. You were talking about particularly the changes to perfect parry and how it makes offense feel a little bit better. Do you feel like the game needed to take that step?
I don't know. I feel like people wanted this step, because how many times do you hear people complain about people mashing parry and shifting the momentum? Right. It also makes parry, when it happens, a lot more intentful. Does it make offense harder? I think it does, but will this last forever? I don't know if it will, because you know how players in the first month are like, damn, this is really difficult to deal with, and then their minds change after they get used to it or more accustomed to it or train with it more in their minds. It's like right now I feel like a lot of players are not applying perfect parry like they used to, because you can't mash it out, and characters like HAMAD have some variants already, so it makes it already harder to parry. So we'll see in a month how well this is, if it's a like good deviation or not. But personally, I like it because it makes things that are quote unquote fake more real, and people actually have to think about when they parry. Maybe it makes offense a little bit harder to deal with overall. Maybe that makes the game a little more volatile in some ways. But right now, I'm enjoying it. I think some of the players are as well. We'll have to see what happens in a month, though.
Yeah. If nothing else, it differentiates the choice between a parry and a perfect parry, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you can just hit parry and not worry about it, or you can make the active choice of like, I'm fishing for perfect parry and I think it's going to be a mid versus a low, and now it sort of differentiates those defensive decisions. And on top of that, like the change to throw tech giving you additional drive gauge, there's a lot of changes there on the defensive side all happening at once that sort of, they give a little bit more life to the smaller defensive decisions while also leaving room for those to be exploited.
I think that's true. And it also means like some things that, like Juri's fireball, for example, that's a low. It's hard to deal with when he sends that out, or when a player sends it out and they dash up behind that. Now that becomes even harder of a mix to deal with. Am I worried about the fireball or the stay in medium? Am I worried about one of those? Am I gonna try like low parry this? Or maybe I'll go for an imperfect parry, but then they're right close to my face and they just get the bar back. So that's like another thing that also HAMAD will have to deal with in this upcoming matchup too as well. Do I parry that? I can probably headbutt it, but if I'm close enough, can I parry that? Either way, Grand Finals is on the way, people. It's Honda and it's Juri. It's HAMAD versus JAK.
Yep, and HAMAD on the winner's side did take this set 3-2 when they played in the winner's semifinals. So this matchup has happened once today. Granted, when it did, JAK started the set on MAD. So we're gonna have to see whether starting with Juri makes a difference. But HAMAD right now firmly in control, just being an absolute wall. Early Kara throw to close out the first round.
Man, that distance is just a little ambiguous, hard to deal with. You're worried about the overhead, worried about the follow-ups. I get it. The fake out sometimes that HAMAD might do. Anti right there, hard to deal with. Cross-up headbutts are a little bit difficult for Honda to hit. He's gonna have to use Stand Fierce instead. Drive rush medium, the stomp this time. Stocks up after the block. Stream.
Ooh. That's twice now going for Kara command grab. I wanted to highlight how solid HAMAD still is on checking drive rush with that standing strong. And it's continuing to be the case as this goes on. But the fact that the read on how JAK is gonna defend has been so solid so far is also really impressive. I guess there's something to be said that, you know, a grappler sets a different pace of defensive decision-making than a non-grappler character does, right? And HAMAD gets the advantage of JAK being in a slower defensive decision-making mindset with the previous couple of matchups.
Quick with it right now. HAMAD, first game already. JAK with a better start. Ends it with the DP, has the flash stock up. Expends none of the fireballs, which I get, because, you know, HAMAD can wake up with a headbutt and avoid that. So you have to have that knockdown sort of scenario, make it meaty. Stand Fierce. Now the drive rush. Now the medium. The fake out, but no follow-up in terms of the combo.
Okay. Perfect parry, punish counter throw, wants to maximize the drive gauge damage, keep the corner position, not finding the anti-air, but getting the trip guard. Low-key better.
That works out. Take that. He interrupts the drive rush with the stand medium. Even though nerf with the hurt box, it's still a fantastic button. Wakes up with violence, eyes aren't even open, swinging with that level 1. Corner distance as well. Ooh.
Okay.
God dang, HAMAD is going crazy right now. He tried to go for the
what the hell
command grab,
that
bro.
Is such a crazy choice for
try to go for like the tempo
step
step
position.
Yeah, you go for like the plus frames fake out, but you go for the command grab instead. It's really nasty.
This has all the energy of like HAMAD is feeling himself a little bit and is starting to try to, not quite a freestyle, but just like, I bet I can get this shit to work. Dial it back a second. Where you were was perfect.
Yo, JAK routing it back though. We're having to expend a bit of juice right there off the drive rush, but that's a-okay. But yeah, HAMAD, I still feel like even though that round was taken from him, it's just he's been so good on controlling this character. Now JAK not drive rushing up as much. He's taking it nice and neutral, finding whip punches as you saw right there, drive rushing with intent a little bit more, which has been a thing for him. I think he's had to keep up his drive gauge and understand when to drive rush up. Neutral jump, fierce, guiding forward just a little bit. Can hit that EDs for that level 3, close to burnout after this. Bad position here for JAK.
I love that neutral jump fierce choice as well. Like the mid-range game of standing strong, standing fierce, counter poking was starting to get exposed. So bringing that verticality to it and being able to beat JAK's counter poke, massive. Corner control finds the throw. One more touch ought to do it, depending. I think a regular throw won't. Respect out of JAK. Wants to press the issue, but clipped by the step kick. That's 2 games up.
No way. HAMAD is on one, yo. At least give me a reset. It's a final game for the tournament right now if HAMAD has it his way. Space Trap! After the tempo step, the stand fierce connects, gets a pickup. Empty low. Oh, I see, I knew it. So did JAK. The flip out saves him for a little bit longer. The jump back fadeaways have been layups here for HAMAD. So is the butts up for the command grab.
HAMAD has a spectacular call on when JAK is holding down back. Level 1 out of JAK, wants the screen space, wants the extra control, wants that little bit of damage for this equalizer here in this third game, wants to go in behind the fireball. Not going to happen. Perfect parry into the crouching jab, lets the stomp go this time into a command grab after. HAMAD is on set point.
I love that you were talking about how difficult it is to perfect parry and things like that. HAMAD has been practicing, as you said, preparing for this. And it's working out to stop the pressure that JAK wants to initiate with the fireballs. Of the quarter now, how do we escape? Stand fierce all damn day. Hell parry, interruption of the trade. HAMAD takes this to leave the corner. But it was a setup the entire time. The crouching to kick is the stop sign.
Oh, what a backdash from HAMAD. How much resources do we spend? One next touch could be it. We have level 3 available. Spacing trap works out there for JAK and the little shimmy, but we don't get anything for it. Starting to use a little bit of the stop sign. And HAMAD's really trying to bait a choice out of JAK, not gonna work out there, and gets the jump in.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the intention with the stand medium, like hide it behind a headbutt. Didn't work out though. Rush for a medium punch to flip out. This is the grip. Butt slam. Drive rush, meaty stand medium right there. Hella plus. That drive gauge not looking so good.
All right, pressing the issue. Hands. No, we don't quite find the anti-air, but it's okay. We're able to reset back to neutral on the screen. DR forward into DP. So JAK gets a little bit of that. Oh my god, actually JAK is smoking out the drive rush low shorts that HAMAD has been doing to try to bait out pokes from JAK.
Uh-oh. Where my hug at? There's a few more to get it done.
Back. Oh!
Oh, the jump medium, as you mentioned. Offense on defense here. But again, JAK can't get clipped or hit by the heavenly hands that are stocked up soon here from HAMAD. The headbutt lands. It's a one-touch scenario. It's a DI, and HAMAD takes down JAK by simply armoring through. The man with the hands, HAMAD, from winner's side with the Honda, takes a World Warrior. And he's not even on the Sagat, bro. He's not even on the Sagat. That is crazy work. Congrats to HAMAD.
That was crazy. Forcing the issue with DI. We had such an interesting interaction earlier in the evening about forcing DI at low health. And it happens again.
It happens again, bro. It happens again. Enough to armor through. Well done from HAMAD to call that out. Congrats to JAK, though. Second place. Definitely not bad. You want more points as possible. But considering how stacked and how crazy this bracket was, you could take that. You could take that to the bank with you. So big ups to all people over the top 8 spot. Can we get a look at the bracket one more time for the one time? Help close this out, because I definitely want to take a look at all these players that have grinded their way up to get here. Some that didn't even appear. Yo, shouts out to Mia, who definitely did some work with 3 characters. Marv, who's been playing more tournaments. 7th on the Terry. YUNGTATE making some upsets too as well. And of course, JAK with consistency that we expect to be these top 8 points and brackets. HAMAD showing out with the Honda. KOLIBRI on the Ryu. That's the Kobe killer. And Stealth from Texas. Definitely not stealthy with that mix-up, but definitely damaging when it comes through.
Yeah, thanks to all of our players for putting on this awesome show for all of us. I mean, I had a blast watching it. Some crazy matchups here. I feel like people are going to have to come away from this, at the very least in the Midwest region, people are going to have to do a little bit more homework on Honda, or at the very least on HAMAD, because of the sets that I saw, I don't feel that he was challenged all that much this evening, if I'm going to keep it a buck.
Ooh. You know, I think it's really more HAMAD than it is Honda. Honda's good. And people say, oh, it's low tier Honda, whatever. That doesn't really matter in this game. Every character that's low tier, quote unquote, is hella strong. You're not popping up a Medisa and be like, oh, this is free work right here. You could get bodied. We've seen it before. It's happened more this season for Lily, Honda, all those characters that are low tier out here. Jamie, for example, they're just stronger characters out there that have a more consistent toolkit. However, if you have really good fundamentals and you spend the time and you're willing to grind this out and play a little more perfectly than other people and back it up, you know, you can make the magic happen. HAMAD taking this tournament in winner's side, considering the strength of the Midwest, excuse me, that have been in top spots of top 8s of stacked tournaments that have killed your favorite killers out here. it's a pretty big achievement. Hamad, congrats to you. That's a lot of points, my G. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, so obviously that concludes the first of the World Warrior Midwest tournaments, but there are 5 through the series before we get to the finals. So just because Hamad won today does not mean that that is a guarantee of anything. We have 4 more of these to go through, and you can make sure that you keep them locked and loaded and up to date if you follow along on your favorite social medias of Low Kick Esports, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. I mean, you're watching on either YouTube or Twitch right now, and that's one of the places that you can stay to be able to watch things like Roundhouse, which is, as we've talked about, somehow in its 5th year. Makes me feel quite old.
Sheesh. Cannot believe that.
Makes
of
me
course,
feel
you'll get the.
quite old.
I'm with you, bro. I'm 37 out here. LeGray's starting the show. But it's for a good cause. You know, Midbest is going to be out there too as well. So I'll be showing out to that. I'm sure all of y'all will be, because these seasons has already begun. So jump them locals if you want to learn more about all that good stuff. Hit up the socials for Low Kick, and you know, hit us up too, or you know, whatever. Hit up Seth, or you know, ask Ham if you want to enter the tournament after it's begun. If you can still get in there, you can ping him on Twitter. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. He'll kill you. He'll kill you. Do not do that. In the game. I had to put that in the game, so I'm not getting in trouble. But either way, been a fun time, Brad. Always good to run the 1s and 2s with you. We've got to do this more often, my G.
Absolutely.
Good to see you return. Yeah.
I'm stuck on, you said you're 37 and you're only just finding grays.
At first they were stress grays, but now they're real grays. So I don't know.
Stress grays count,
pepper,
man.
bro.
Stress grays count.
Oh my God. I guess so. I'm old. But either way, it's been a good time. You'll see these players evolve. It's been a great time watching this action. We'll have to come back next month and see who gets to lead up on the points. But until then, people, stay safe, and we will see you in the streets for the next one. Peace.